What? Huh? What? Alex said it better than I could. He said, all I want to do is nurse one beer and talk to people about blockchain.
I will absolutely die on this hill.
See, I told you I needed the sound effects. Good now to everybody who is with us on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. We've been talking backstage, me and the people at TikTok, because not that we are hung over, but the guys are in translation. Will and Alex are flying, and so is Mac Lorden. I've been texting him to be here with you, with me. They're up in the air. So you just get me for a show today, which means we're going to have a lot of fun. How's that for an intro? The TikTok people have already been with me for, 15 minutes and know how unhinged I am. So let me just tell you, today you are flying solo with me and any guests we might encounter on the internet for the Rise Up Morning Show. If you have a crypto question, please do leave it in the chat. If I happen to miss it, don't hesitate to put it in again. Let's make it a fun time. I'm glad to tell you about the conference. I'm glad to answer your cryptocurrency questions. We just answered the question for the TikTok audience backstage. I bought the top, should I sell? And had a good conversation about how, if you feel that strongly about it, what has changed in your conviction? And I'd like to know, just generally speaking, first of all, how you are. I see Stephanie and Mike and Edmund, Will. It's good to see you guys. How you're feeling. I understand yesterday was quite a red day. And it may surprise some of you to know this, if you don't know me, that I really don't look at my phone, my cryptocurrency markets, my charts that often at all. I mostly find out about what's happening in the market when people tell me. And that's not because I'm not in it. It's just because I'm not that worried about it day to day. And my goal would be for everybody to feel that kind of sense of peace and not feel that they had to pay attention to the markets unless they really wanted to. Some people like that. It doesn't add peace to my life. I don't enjoy it personally. So if that's you, consider that your gut is trying to tell you something. Good questions here. Does utility necessarily equal value in a coin or token? Oh my gosh, this is one of the best questions. Applause for you. I think that utility is a oft used, much misunderstood buzzword. The idea that a thing can be used for something doesn't necessarily mean people will find it to be a valuable solution. We were talking about XRP before we got on. My view at this present time is that XRP is not, though it has much utility and, for example, is fast and cheap and can be used for cross-border payments, I don't see a lot of people adopting it at this time for that purpose. Does that mean they won't? Of course not. But they are using other technology that is tokenized or blockchain enabled that does the things XRP claims that it will be able to do. Ripple claims XRP will be able to do, or the people who support it. And I just don't see XRP as competing with it. For example, another example would be, I am a meme coin company and I launched a meme coin and we've got a roadmap. We're different than other meme coins. We're going to build a wallet. We're going to build out a place in the metaverse where everybody who holds our meme coin can come and hang out. We've got an education initiative to onboard more women to the Web3 space. And we are going to start a partnership with one luxury brand so that you can use our obscure currency to buy their stuff. That is not valuable utility. That's somebody who thinks crypto is about utility or that they can make their meme better or give it longevity with utility. That's not how value is driven. Usefulness might be a better word than utility. Utility seems to mean in our space, can I use it to do something? The question you should be asking is it useful for this thing it can do? Oh, 3 sounds at once. I was going to give myself a ding for that because that was actually a good turn of phrase. I've never had the chance to speak before. So thank you for the question. I hope that helps. And if you want to hear a specific example, let me know. And if you've got a question and I don't see it, don't hesitate to, I was telling the folks on TikTok, everybody else on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, if you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, hello, welcome. Hi, Tori. I see you out there. Always happy to see you. Is feel free to jump over on the TikTok and keep me company. You can do like a radio show. We've got a button down here on TikTok where if you press it, it looks like two people hugging. If you've left a comment, I'll be able to see your comment and see that you're real and not a bot. And I can bring you up if you want to ask me a question. I'd be glad. Sometimes it's easier to talk it out than it is to talk it out back and forth in the comments. My question is, how do you feel about these lows today? I didn't know that we were low until yesterday evening. I saw Bitcoin was at 91,000. And the question of should we hold and wait or buy the dip, it entirely depends on your situation. If you're already over leveraged and feeling nervous, that's probably a sign that you're new here. You need to just be patient. If you miss it because you didn't invest enough, well, that's okay. You didn't lose money. If you lose money because you bought the dip too far and it goes all the way down, then you might be in trouble. It really depends on your personal situation. The best thing to do always is to educate yourself and inform your conviction. See what the market is doing, sure, but what do you believe about why did you buy Bitcoin? And not all conviction is created equal. If you believe in that meme token you bought because the community is so strong and the founder's so honest and everybody who's holding it is going to keep holding it, that's very different and not as quality conviction as a million people use this every day. It's getting 10,000 more active wallets per month. The trading volume for this token is increasing. They just were in a commercial with their logo on the screen next to Nike, and the CEO has given 10 talks last year, and before that, nobody knew his name. That informs your conviction. Or, the CEO of Chase Bank says that we are going to use this company to explore this thing that blockchain actually does that is useful, not just a utility. A lot of projects in this space will use utility, will use buzzwords to tell you why you should buy their token. And all they have to sell you is that a token. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, he's here. The one and only Mr. Alex Popovich in the comments.
Hey, man. This is a gross misrepresentation of
He
the
says,
facts.
on my way to the airport.
Not ideal.
Just kidding. It is ideal. And I can't wait to see you. I wish you could just be here, Alex. Why can't you just teleport, man?
It's just stupid.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
And that's just bullshit.
No, man, really, truly. I'm looking forward to seeing you. I can't wait. I can't wait till Alex is here. Will's here. Max here. It's going to be great. Good morning, Evan. Nick says, is liquidity coming? Trump pump can't be the top, right? Well, the answer, of course, is it could be. And the question becomes, if it is the top, what will you do? I don't personally think it is the top because the macroeconomic picture, when I zoom out from today or 4 hours ago, seems to be pretty bullish. Economic indicators have mostly been strong or slowing, but not slowed. And I don't think momentum has gone enough in the opposite direction to really make me feel like we're in the bad place. Bitcoin is very strong. Traditional finance institutions are really excited about it. Strategy, Michael Saylor's company, just bought, whatever Will said, a significant amount to bring their total Bitcoin holdings up to 500,000 tokens. So many things that are exciting about this moment are still on the horizon. I'm not investing for next week or next month. All my positions are for, are mostly things I've been buying for a minute that I've already taken profit on. I tend to be, because I've been here for a long time, I'm in a better position than somebody who bought the top in November. If you bought the top on a token in November, like HBAR or XLM or XRP, I would be worried about those things, especially if you're expecting them to go up again on a short time frame. I don't see anything that has changed since then. And then I think a lot of those tokens, it was a speculative pump. I don't see the conditions that would cause those particular tokens to pump the way I see conditions that will benefit Solana or Bitcoin, or probably something like Ondo, which is on the front page of the real world assets internet. And everybody is talking about and tokenizing real world assets these days. You know what I mean? We just had Katie Evans from Swarm on to talk about how they're offering a particular suite of tokenized assets to retail investors. Regulatory compliance is really hot right now, and we don't even have a new SEC yet officially. So things are moving, but you've got to be patient. Should I sell? Should I buy? Should I buy the dip? Patience and being nimble is key. Way low. Way low. I lost the context. There's going to be a hackathon soon on testnet, putting the word out. Testnet for what? Let me see. Do I own Pi? Oh, let me tell you.
Hey, man.
I have given my thoughts on Pi in a recent video, and just like anything, I am willing to be open-minded about it, and my mind is open to changing, but Pi is what I would categorize as a pupo. Ponzi until proven otherwise. It makes me say, and I am telling you, the thing I don't like about Pi Network, why I would not be excited to build on testnet, is because honestly, there are a lot of things I dislike about Pi that I dislike about XRP. And when I say dislike, I don't mean it's a personal thing. I feel neutrally about it. But I think it's important for people to understand the concerns someone like me, who really does work here, might have about people investing in that, and even more about people calling it a cryptocurrency. The TLDR of the video, okay, I just watched it. Well, for the people who didn't, I'll be brief, is Pi is a highly centralized company that doesn't have what I would call a real blockchain network or ecosystem where anybody can do whatever they want with their cryptocurrency tokens. Yet it purports to be this accessible, free medium of exchange for users of the network. They've only just gone to mainnet, and people are finally able to sell their Pi tokens if they didn't lock them up. But the company controls everything. It's all their terms and conditions. They tell you what you can do with the information that's supposed to represent the money you own free and clear. Their testnet is not a place where people in our space want to go. I don't know anybody who works at Stellar or Polkadot or Wormhole or Pith, or I mean, you name it. The people that we've talked to here or in the past couple of weeks, I don't know anybody legitimate working in the crypto industry that is enthusiastic about Pi, that believes in it, that thinks it has any kind of crypto native value. Does that mean that we could all be, wrong? Absolutely, we could be. There's always that kind of thing, but it's very different from something like Bitcoin, which was designed to be provably scarce, decentralized, increasingly so over time, distributed through effort and work that makes it scarce and difficult to obtain. Pi is easy for anybody anywhere to get on an app where they advertise to you, which means they sell your data to an advertiser because someone was willing to pay them money to put their ad in front of your eyeballs. That's how they make their money. And why would I, as a merchant or an exchange, want to use a token for a medium of exchange that I could effortlessly click and get myself, and that I can not count on having a stable price, or that I would have a hard time selling or no reason to believe is going to go up, yada, yada, yada. It seems to me the only reason people would hold Pi is because they wanted to be early to something, which I understand completely, and because they think the price might go up, which I also understand. I don't think the incentive is there. Thank you for letting me share. My name is Evan, and I am a cryptocurrency user. I need a sound for that. Oh, Tori, I'm sorry you've got the gunk. I just saw your comment about that. I hope that you start feeling better. I am underslept, which is not unusual for a conference, but I'm feeling really great. Very vital and healthy. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, darling. That kind of looks like you. Good morning. We've got a lot of comments coming in, so let me remind you again, if you have crypto questions, this is a great place for them. My name is Evan. You're here with me on the Rise Up Morning Show. We're live Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 6 a.m. Mountain Time. And wherever you are watching, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, these are our only channels. This is my only social profile. We will never, me, Alex, Will, any creator who's legitimate ever message you first, ever offer you investment advice. We have a lot of impersonator and scam accounts. So the best thing to do when you find us on the show asking us a question is to bookmark that, save that if you want to see us again, and all our official links like theriseupmorningshow.com, and of course the Rise Up Discord server, discord.gg/riseup. That's the best place to ask a question. If I don't see your question on the show, I will see it there. And we have an incredible community of users, learners, thinkers, doers. Cryptocurrency skeptics even come to our community, and they ask their questions, they share what they know, they learn and grow. We say, rise up together. That's why we call it that. So the only thing missing is you. Has Flare got a future? Boy, I don't know. I don't know. I don't use it, so I couldn't tell you. I can learn and find out. The thing I know most about Flare is there are a lot of people walking around trying to get you an airdrop of Flare tokens that is fake in order to take your data. Mike, my friend, GM, my crew today is in the air. Alex is on the chat here in the comments, I think, while he's waiting for his airplane. I think Mac boarded a flight earlier today. William is boarding a flight soon. And they will be here in Denver for Ethereum Denver at about 11 a.m. I think everybody's going to be in and on the ground. Mike, are you here at East Denver? Let me know. And also, Mike, when can we get you back on the show? I need to have you back on the show and in my life. I miss you. And I just want to talk about ideas with you. I have had such wonderful conversations with people here. We're going to have a quick aside. I'll get back to some questions, but we're going to have a guest on the show Thursday, Alex. This is the first time you're hearing about it. And
this is a gross misrepresentation.
No, it's true. I'm telling you, we're going to have a guest on the show. I met Tuva yesterday and Sabina, her friend. Guess what the name of their product is? Bitcoin. I have a hard time saying that word in public for a lot of reasons, and in private, if I'm being honest with you. And I think it has more to do with me than it has to do with anybody else. But I'm very cognizant as a man on a social media platform that it's or in the world, it's a very loaded thing when that word comes out of my mouth. This project, though, I was in this hackathon yesterday, and one of the founders, Tuva, was judging, and she gave me a really good piece of feedback. She said, I don't think this idea does enough to appeal to one kind of people. You know, if you're familiar with this platform, you know, Rise Up, I'm interested in casting a vision that everybody can find themselves inside of, like an umbrella that fits everyone. I think that's the way to do it. And they were saying, no, you got to be kind of divisive. You got to let people know what you stand for when you're trying to pitch something. And I was like, yeah, you're totally fair. People need to have an emotional reaction. They need to understand your idea and have a reaction to it, as much as they need to know, what is this product? Not just, we talked about this, does it have utility? Is it useful, right? So Bitcoin is provocative as hell. And it, like many initiatives, is about increasing access and equity in the Web3 space, and specifically is oriented around bringing one more woman, a mom, a sister, a friend, a daughter, to the crypto space. If we all did that, then it would be a much more diverse and not just profitable, but healthy space. And they are doing a variety of educational initiatives, including a learn to earn sort of platform. Her husband is a lawyer. She's got a wonderful reputation from past work in the space. And I just enjoyed talking to her so much about helpful education, meaningful marketing, that I want to have them on the show. And I think there might be some cool opportunities for fun cross promotion between our kind of platforms, because we both are concerned with educating people. And I love that they want to do more to make it fun for a particular type of person who is not really represented in our space to be here and talk about it. We'd have a monster dip once a month. Okay, everyone's talking in the comments. I'm so sorry. That's me. I'm a mom. I know. I told her. She said she got in the space in 2017, and she said she was telling me about her onboarding experiences, and I said, you need a onboarding your mom since 2017 shirt, so I'm going to wear it on Thursday. And Alex, that's the thing. She said she would come here to the Airbnb, so I've got to, when you get here, I've got to figure out exactly the ideal way to set us up to do a show. That's the fun game I get to play, is traveling with the Rise Up morning show in a suitcase and figuring out how I'm going to present it to you. So stay tuned for that. Back to your crypto questions. Enough about me. Tell me about you. Is it worth doing a live or a video of what the conference looks like for people who are curious to check it out? Yeah, that's a great idea, Mike. So first, it looks like this. You get a house, you get a place to stay. But I would absolutely walk around and show you if you'd like that. I have not gone to the main East Denver venue yet. Kind of the way it is more than a lot of other types of conferences. Web3 conferences are very spread out. A lot of people are doing like Polkadot and WebZero have done. To have like a house, a central location, and to host it all week, and to have food to bring people back. A lot of food is free. There are talks everywhere. There are hackathons everywhere. And then there are parties. I gotta say, I was kind of bearish on Polkadot. And Alex, we can talk about this more. I really need to have you here to be my foil and partner for this. But I love the people. I met the folks who hosted the event. They're hustling, hardworking, kind, hospitable, professional people. But I do feel like the mansion environment and like the we have a DJ on staff vibe is not as conducive to I just want to nurse one beer and talk about crypto. Yesterday in the Polkadot house, there were people smoking cigarettes on the patio, which is cool. You know, obviously I'm not going to complain. And there were people hacking in the living room. A woman walked through who was breastfeeding and just talking to somebody. And she was like, yeah, we raised a seed A, but you know, excuse me, a pre-seed. We raised a pre-seed and we this and this and that, and we're going to mainnet and we you know, just doing a business call next to a bowl of chips with a baby, breastfeeding in public. It's that kind of place. East Denver specifically is a very crunchy conference, you know, earthy. It's my people. You know. Rick, I saw your comment, man. I can't wait. As soon as I'm back in Georgia, I will call you. We have a lot of people in the Atlanta area. I think I was telling folks at the conference here last night, one of the things I want to do for our community, I've said it before, you've heard me say it again, is it is important to have opportunities to meet up in person. What happens at East Denver and at a lot of crypto conferences specifically is you create these momentary epicenters. It's like a network state. People who are members of the network, who share the values and ideology of crypto, especially kind of regenerative, Ethereum-oriented people who want to like save the earth and kumbaya like me. That's like East Denver's vibe. And they're smart and sharp and, you know, at the front of our space for sure. But they're not as worried, usually, sometimes, about, you know, how can I make an extractive meme token? They're trying to solve poverty or something like that and doing a good job at it. But they gather in these places for periods of time. Many of them are nomadic. And they create these cultural epicenters of blockchain excellence. People are hacking, they're building solutions, people are networking, doing deals, helping, teaching each other. And they're so excited because they're finally in a place where everyone knows about, wants to talk about crypto. And I can have a conversation with somebody there that's very different than the kinds of conversations we have in the show. Not that there's anything wrong with this, but I have to keep in mind, you know, people at all levels of experience. But there I can be jargony. It's the people who really work here. And the shame about that kind of event is that a lot of the people in the house working there, delivering food, doing whatever, know nothing about crypto. And I think it is a real tragedy that people sit in a room and they're doing a hackathon to build something that'll save some energy on somebody's transaction costs when they buy some crypto on the Polygon network. When there are people walking around who don't understand how to use Aave to get 8% on their USDC for about as much risk as a savings account. I think that's a real shame for people who don't understand what Bitcoin did for money and why it matters to them. I've had the best conversations I've had, though I've had wonderful conversations with my colleagues, have been onboarding conversations and trying, when I am talking to my colleagues, to shift our focus away from some of this let's build for us energy, more towards this let's build for us, everybody energy, and have conversations with people. I had a conversation with a wonderful woman there named Carla. Carla, if you're watching, hello, that I've gotten to know over the last 2 days when I've dropped into the Polkadot mansion, who has been so hospitable, so professional, so hardworking. They are there from like, you know, early morning like us to late at night, working all day, go, doing labor. And she said to me, you know, I really don't know much about cryptocurrency. And we said to her yesterday, then maybe you should be one of the people judging this hackathon. And she said, oh yeah, well, that would be fun, but I would like to learn about it. And that was one of the best conversations I had, was just gaining her trust through a series of small interactions so that we could talk about it. And she might know about it and learn about it. And it might, in some small way, help her a little bit. I don't know. Conferences are interesting. I said all of that, can you believe it, to say I want to do more in real life events for our community, the Rise Up community. Hosting speakers, having events where a DJ in a small room is blasting smoke and playing, loud music, but where people can enjoy food, enjoy a walk in a, culture center city where they live or near where they live. And we can all get together and talk about this stuff concertedly. It's just so different in a wonderful way. Thanks for indulging my rant. Thanks very much. Moist Mike said, that's why I love it here in Denver. If you make it to Boulder, check out the Bluff or Snarfs for food. I love it. Besides all the dispensaries. Is it worth? Yes, it is. East Denver, straight to the Zen Zone, number 8 massage. Oh man, the Zen Zone, that's the place to be. It's like cushions and pillows. In this mansion, they had an attic with, like comfy cushions where a lot of people were, listening to like lo-fi music. It's a whole vibe. East Denver is. John Piazza says, crazy request for me in the audience. Is it possible to confirm you sent me a couple of Discord messages 2 days ago so I can tell it's you and not a scammer? Well, at this very particular moment, I can't open Discord because my phone will rug me and my computer will too. But I can tell you this, John. I don't recall, tell me what your username is, but I don't recall that we've had any conversations on Discord, and I will never on any platform, neither will Alex or Will. No legitimate creator will do this. You ever getting those messages that say, hey, and it looks like it's conversations with Evan. How is your investment journey going? And you're thinking, oh my God, Evan's checking in on me. That's so cool. No, that's not me. That is somebody who is pretending to be me to leverage the trust we've built to take your money. I will never, ever, ever DM you for any reason. If I need to DM you and break my promise here, I will message you in a public forum first. What I'll do is I'll say, hey, John Piazza, calling to the bat. Are you related to Mike? I will tell you, I'm going to message you. Or what I will probably say is add me as a friend and message me so you can make sure you're talking to the right one. Because when I say I'll message you, all my imitatees are like, they're scrambling to get at you. It's a lot of people saying they're me. I'm very sorry about it. TikTok does not help us. I am going to put together a packet and try. I've never tried for verification on the platform, the blue check mark that I hear helps. But I'm going to put together a package. I think because I was on a TV show prominently enough to get my name in the credits last year, and have done other such appearances that are notable public things. And because we have a podcast and whatever, that they might give me a blue check. So, hello. Do I think the trade war will affect crypto? I think it's already affecting crypto. I think war causes uncertainty. Not just trade wars, but hard wars, which we are experiencing, genocides, shifts in leadership, all of those things. I don't know if we'll experience an outright trade war. It's hard for me to speculate on that because it's not my expertise, though I, can read a newspaper or two and pick apart why it's important to pay attention to China or Russia or what they're doing in Africa, for example. I think it will and can affect crypto. Crypto is the most fragile and volatile risk-on asset class. So when things go sideways for the economy, things go wildly sideways for crypto. Yes, Discord is a great place to be, especially if you're trying to learn in a less cluttered environment. You might consider office hours. We have a voice chat that is just like this. It's a call where I hang out, but you can talk back. And everybody's on a phone call together who might want to drop by the way you might drop by to visit your teacher in college to ask a question. I am hosting an open voice chat in Discord every Friday. Not this Friday because I'm traveling, but that's one of the benefits of the premium membership of our Discord. You don't have to spend a dime. You don't have to pay $1 to learn with us. But for the kinds of things that we can't scale, we have made a membership program so that people can use those things to accelerate their learning journey. For just a couple bucks every month, and starting with a free trial, you can check out office hours, and I would encourage you to do it. You can activate a free trial at theriseupmorningshow.com, see if it's for you, see about all the benefits. It's really designed for people who want to go farther, faster with me and Alex and Will, who might want discounts to a coaching session to meet one-on-one with us. That's not something, unfortunately, that I have the capacity to do with everyday people, but we sell it because when we do that, it helps us, one, learn who the most engaged, dedicated members of our community are and build a real relationship with them. And also, it helps me do one less other job so that I can spend more time making content for free, or writing a guide for free, or calling 50 sponsors that might fly us to East Denver so we can talk about it. So everybody who does that kind of thing really supports our ability to reach more people. Our vision is to reach as many people as possible with a better story. And I got to say, not to get you sappy, and I promise I'll get back to questions, but thank you for making us really the most trusted source for live crypto education on the internet. You've absolutely done that for us. I couldn't think of anything else I'd rather be. Some people wanted to be rich, some people wanted to be famous, but we wanted to be trusted. And together we've done that. So that's killer. I'm bullish. Okay, questions. If you've got a question, this is the last time I'll say this. Feel free to jump over to the TikTok side for all my friends who are on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, LinkedIn, because you can request to jump up into the box with me and you can speak to me to ask me a question. All you do is at the bottom of the screen, there's a little pink person and a little blue person that look like they're giving each other a hug, is tap that button and I'll connect you. Evan, how can liquidity flow from Bitcoin to alts if Bitcoin is being purchased in the thousands by MicroStrategy? Well, here's the thing. Strategy. I keep saying MicroStrategy. It's going to take me years to get that right, and they'll probably change it again.
Don't come for me.
I don't consider their money on chain the way I consider somebody's meme coin money on chain. I don't think their Bitcoin money is going to flow to alts. I think what it's going to do is raise the profile of our space and legitimize it, and then make it likely that the next dollar that comes here, a portion of it might be truly on chain and go to altcoins or meme coins or be used for cross-border payments or whatever. More crypto native money, more crypto native value, more crypto information, encrypted information on a blockchain at scale is what we need. We just need people to be using it. So if Bitcoin is using it, then that's good. Or excuse me, Strategy is using it, that's good. I see Nick Johnson had a comment. Heck yeah. Hang on. Let me bring you up. Nick, welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. How are you doing today, brother?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. What's going on with you?
Nothing much. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the Bybit situation with the 1.5 billion being stolen.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Hey, it's good to see you again, brother. If you're moving while you're on the video, watch out because sometimes TikTok will flag your live access. There you go. If you're on the video,
I can change the effects, I think.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, if you get disconnected, I just don't want you to get disconnected. This is a great question. For people who don't know, last week, the greatest cryptocurrency heist in history occurred. And it's two of my favorite things, crypto and heists, you know? And what happened was the North Korean hacker group Lazarus performed a long con, like an Ocean's 11 movie, to extract information from the company Bybit, identify employees who had access to its multi-signature wallets, and then they sent targeted attacks to those employees that most likely, we don't have this confirmed, but we're pretty confident this is what happened, compromised their physical devices, the phones or computers that they use to read the approval messages they get from their wallets, so that when the hackers sent a transaction request that basically said, let me take over your money, compromise your private key to me, what the multi-signature wallet signers, the employees at Bybit, saw was a transaction that looked like a usual movement of money from their company that would be routine and regular. And so naturally they approved it. And the interesting thing about this, if you don't know, multi-signature wallets are cryptocurrency wallets which don't have one key. They have multiple keys to authorize the sending or spending of your crypto. And usually these keys are given to multiple people. If somebody gets fired from the company, we get a brand new multi-sig and transfer the money over and give a new person the key. This is one of the cool things about cryptocurrencies. You don't have to rely on one person or entity, or even if you're Bybit, you don't just want the CEO driving around with a ledger in his pocket kind of thing. So they use these multi-signature wallets to prevent hacks like this, but the hackers knew who held the keys. They compromised their devices. They sent a malicious transaction. And when the multi-signature wallet holders approved the transaction, That granted permission for these people to do anything they wanted with their Ethereum and staked ETH assets. This is the cold wallet that was compromised. Bybit keeps, it's BNB tokens on this wallet, it's ETH tokens on this wallet, that kind of thing. And they transferred out $1.4 billion of Ethereum tokens and staked ETH. Now, in the aftermath, we understand that Bybit is solvent, which means they will pay back everybody who was affected, like whose money that was. They back their customer funds one-to-one. That was their money. Just for doing other business purposes. They have to have money on hand as an exchange. They have assured us that their other cold storage wallets are not compromised and that they are aware of the nature of the hack in order to prevent it from occurring again. In the short term, obviously, this causes people to be fearful. But Ethereum is a $400 billion token and ecosystem. It almost certainly will be that the hackers have to launder this over time very slowly to avoid triggering holds because they have to do it anonymously, even though folks have started to identify them. And that's a lot of money. They don't want to just tank the value of Ethereum by selling $1.4 billion all at once, and they want to launder it effectively. So it probably will be absorbed by the market. And Bybit, the good news is not doing anything, criminal or untoward like FTX was 2 years ago. And this is mostly going to be, I think, a success story for our industry in hindsight about their effective crisis response, their preparedness beforehand to endure this attack. And I think it will be a good story of Ethereum's resilience. Does that help you, brother? And do you have any other questions or thoughts on it? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I was just curious to see what you thought about how that's going to affect Ethereum layer 2s and security and anything that has to do with keeping your funds safe, I guess, more or less on obviously exchanges, but more or less on the actual blockchain.
I'm not that concerned about the actual blockchain just because nothing about the nature of it has changed in the sense that it's got one of the most decentralized and robust in terms of big validator networks, people who are staking Ethereum tokens to secure the network. Its market cap is huge. So effectively, you'd have to spend hundreds of billions of dollars to successfully attack the network in that way and take everyone's money or shake the secure foundation of Ethereum, like the way a powerful earthquake would be required to absolutely demolish New York City. It would take something of that magnitude. And I also think that more and more people are coming to Ethereum through things like Base, through Arbitrum. And even though they're having sort of a tough discussion about like what is the future of the Ethereum network with L2s extracting value and how can they add value to the L1, I think that's a momentary conflict in Ethereum's timeline. I think most people are, bullish. Supporting the network, continuing to make it more secure. And people's cold storage, I don't think anything's changed about that either. I think Coinbase or Kraken are big targets. Binance is a big target. And I'm more worried that someone's going to try and attack them than I am that someone's going to try and attack me. But I also think that for the most part, like Bybit, they're doing the best they can to take their jobs very seriously. And also, we're doing the best we can to teach people about self-custody. So go ahead.
I was going to ask too, I'm just curious because I follow politics and I follow a little bit of everything. But anyways, what do you think about Trump and his, I guess, followers or whatever you want to call them, getting into Tron? That's kind of curious to me because Tron is one of those ones that I just don't really understand why people are in it. And I know it's a lot to do with Justin Sun and probably the Chinese market, but not 100% sure.
So I think there are a couple of factors, at least that I can observe. The first factor that Donald Trump's supporters might be picking up on is World Liberty Financial owns a significant position in Tron and assets on the Tron network. And I think you're right that it's an infrastructure and relationship play, that Tron is big globally, not just in China, but Bitcoin does more volume and stablecoins do more volume on the Tron network. You might have to double check me on this in terms of both those tokens and most volume, but they do more volume on Tron than any other network. It's a top network for volume because it's fast and cheap. Many people around the world send USDT and Bitcoin on Tron network. It is their preferred network. And if you're World Liberty Financial and you're a DeFi protocol, you want your fingers in that pie, because every time somebody's sending that asset, somebody is facilitating it or swapping it or exchanging it. And that's kind of the thing they're going to do at World Liberty Financial. And, we're in Web3 because we want to get away from the money changers, but we still rely a lot on exchanges to charge us a small fee to swap this asset for that one. And I think because a lot of people are using Tron and Tron assets, the Trump plan is to get a piece of that pie.
Do you think that it will affect Coinbase at all in the U.S. market? And do you think that's going to affect their layer 2 blockchain based off that?
No.
Because if the fees are cheap, it might just be an
No.
alternative.
Tron is not a competitor for Coinbase. I don't think. I think people using Coinbase are a very different audience of people. I think the pie is big enough. I think most people that Coinbase is trying to bring on are the people who don't have a wallet yet, are US based, are people who choose to use the Circle stablecoin. It's a different goal and pursuit that they're after, I think. I'm not concerned about Tron in that way. I hope that helps.
Well, I definitely appreciate you answering my questions, and
I appreciate you, man. I'm always glad to see you.
Hearing everything on. Yeah, good to see you too, man.
Have a good day, brother. I'll catch you soon.
Okay, you too.
Oh, man. Nick, friend of the show. It's always good to see you, my friend. If you've got a question and you want to come at the box, go ahead. I'm glad to bring you up. And if you don't have the ability to get on the microphone to talk to me right now, then let me know. I do see we have another request, but if you wouldn't mind, will you leave a comment and just let me know what you want to talk about so that I can prove you're not a bot? That's kind of the threshold. Equal vote. I love the user name. I would love to see a comment just so I can know and keep the audience safe, because every now and then we have somebody request to come up and they're trying to get us. Negotiable instruments. Thoughts on Coinbase? Fees are higher than other exchanges. I think it really depends. I think if you're transferring USDC, the fees are never cheaper. The way to use Coinbase cheaply, every exchange has kind of got their thing, their sweet spot. If you're a US-based consumer, I would say the way to use Coinbase well is to be a US-based consumer or in one of their preferred markets where they do a lot of volume, and connect your bank. I get $0 transfers from my bank to Coinbase and $0 transfers from Coinbase to my bank. It's my preferred off-ramp. And I'm not like mega rich or anything. That's their deal for everybody. So what I like to use Coinbase for is to bring money into crypto. I bring dollars onto Coinbase for free. I swap them for the stablecoin USDC, usually on the Base network. That's free. And then I can send that Base to any other wallet for free. ETH on Base is withdrawable from Coinbase for free. I've paid 0 fees. And now if I sent it to, let's say I want to turn it into a meme coin on, I don't know, Solana, I could withdraw that USDC to the Solana network, to my Solana hot wallet, and a self-custody wallet like maybe Phantom, where I can swap it using a decentralized exchange like Jupiter or Radium to get a really cheap rate on a conversion to a meme coin. I didn't spend any money on Coinbase fees. I got the token I wanted. Usually using decentralized exchanges will be cheaper. And if you're trying to buy or sell crypto, you will encounter fees if what you're doing is using your exchange, your Kraken account, your Coinbase account to click buy and get some crypto. Do you need to be a Coinbase One member? No. But if you are buying, I forget the exact benefits of Coinbase One. I can look it up. It reduces your trading fees up to a certain threshold of dollars. It's really good for people who are very active traders, for people who want to access Coinbase One support, or for people who, I feel like if you're in the middle, or if you're like a whale, it's not good for you. If you're a whale, they give you a concierge. You will get a dedicated Coinbase representative to, give you like an off the market rate to service your account. $10K per month. Thank you for Coinbase One. And Linda, I think I was saying a minute ago that the fees for people to buy, you didn't ask this, but it's a good question in that the fees for people to buy on an exchange are usually much higher than they are to buy anywhere else. And I think it's often the cheapest for people to on-ramp dollars to stable coins at an exchange where they can do it for free, and then withdraw those stable coins somewhere like Coinbase where they can do it for free or cheap and swap those stable coins for something else. That's usually how you pay the most fees. And it's not that cumbersome. You can figure it out. How much makes you a whale? You have to own about 1% of a token supply before people will start considering you a whale. So, for example, you might be the whale in a meme coin for a couple $1,000, but you can't be a Bitcoin whale without investing hundreds and hundreds of millions, probably billions of dollars. It's relative. The other thing I'll say quickly about Coinbase and Coinbase One is really worth it if you want the premium support. And the way to make that happen is you don't need to have Coinbase One all the time if that's the only reason you're using it. If you experience an issue with Coinbase, and a lot of people do, get Coinbase One. I think they have a trial, and you can cancel anytime. Get Coinbase One, then you call their customer service, solve your issue, because you get like premium 24/7 support when you're Coinbase One. Hang up the phone, and once your issue is resolved, just cancel it. You know, it's like the Rise Up Morning Show hack. If you want to see what the Rise Up Morning Show premium membership is all about, test it out before you buy it. You can get the free trial. And if you cancel it after you get all the free stuff, then, you know, I get it, man. I get it. Everybody out here hustling in these streets. Alex is on his way to Denver. Oh, he accepted. I mean, he requested. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alex Popovich.
Boy,
What's going on?
come for leaving me in the waiting room for
I am so sorry. I thought you were somebody else that I didn't know.
rude.
What's going on?
the sound like? Because these are new headphones. I'm not sure.
It sounds like you're in an airport.
Background bullshit.
It's, you know, it could be worse. Sorry, what?
Well, I just had a couple minutes before we get going, and I figured I'd say hello. Oh,
I'm so glad you chose to do that. Tell me more about what you're doing. You're flying. You're sitting down. Are you joining us in the air like Casey did? Oh no, you said a few minutes before I go. I'm adult. Sorry, Alex.
I'm in
tired.
these very comfortable little seats, just vibing.
Just vibing.
Am I going to Denver? Yes, I am going to Denver. I'll be there in. What time is it? I'll be there in 6 hours.
One of our friends says Alex is on a journey. Alex, man, let me tell you what. I was on a journey last night. Through this party, I didn't know. I went from a hackathon to a party, and I didn't even know I was traveling. By which I mean, I was so locked into what I was doing, and it became that classic Web3 thing that we sometimes talk about. First of all, where it's just the nerds talking to each other, insular in a room. And the hackathon, I have to tell you this, the hackathon was mostly judged by like highly technical people, even though it was a marketing hackathon. So I'm curious to see what will win. But then I was outside. I came back inside. The lights were flipped off and like colored lights were turned on. There was DJ music. I could smell liquid smoke in the house, and bartenders in a mansion, but also like people. I was having a great conversation on the porch with 3 people. It was killer. The vibes were immaculate. And then in a matter of 20 minutes, you couldn't even walk in that porch space. You know, it's as big as somebody's like dining room. And it was like shoulder to shoulder. I was like, I felt so uncomfortable, and I couldn't talk with anybody because somebody's like, yeah, bro, what we do is we take the MEV and, you know, it was like super party. And I was like, so I had a journey, and now you have a journey.
Perish.
I know, we got to talk to him about it. I want to be like, listen, Polkadot, you know, I love the people that put on their event. They're really cool, but that's not the kind of event you need to be having.
Dude, you can tell, because Cardano did the same thing. You can tell when people who have no clue how to be people try to be people, and they never get it right, and it's always awful. The worst event I've ever been to was the Cardano event.
It kind of had that vibe for a minute.
I mean, dude, it's a networking convention. Like, I'm there to talk to people. If your event prevents me from talking to people, I'm the fuck out of there. I'm not interested.
Yeah, exactly. It's
What's
it's
the
a
point?
learning curve, you know. I'm going to try and identify who to talk to. There's a guy named Sven who does DevRel at Polkadot, and we were at one point waiting in a line for the bathroom. Like, the fact that there's a line for the bathroom at your conference venue where you're trying to like build the future or whatever, that's a problem. Okay, you know, I'm gumping it. But he was in the line for the bathroom, and I can't talk to this guy because it's too loud. I really wanted to thank him for his hospitality because they have provided a lot for us this week. And dude, he's poor guy. He's like, oh, do you mind? Can I go in front of you? I've got to go. And there's like 4 people in front of us. And I'm like, yeah, man, of course. And I am like, hang on, I'm going to go see. Someone said it's a lower line downstairs. I'll go check that. So I, walk through the people. Sorry, pardon me. Sorry. You know, down the stairs. It's like a staircase where like I'm at the top and you're coming up already. So I got to wait. And then I'm halfway down and somebody else doesn't see me. So like I'm waiting. And finally I get to the bottom. And then there's a bathroom and it's the same thing. And I wait in a line for probably 15 minutes to go to the bathroom. And then Sven and I see each other walking through the party. And I was like, did you make it? He was like, yeah, I made it. So, you know, if your DevRel guy can't even get in the bathroom, got to rethink that. Got to rethink it.
Well, that sounds awful, but I'm excited for the rest of the things.
Yeah,
provided
and
I don't
honestly,
have
the
to
rest
go
of
to
the Polka
anything
Dot House
like
was
that.
good. Oh, and I have to tell you this really quickly. Angie, I'm in this party doing this party where I was working that became a party. And then I turn around and Angie's there. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. And give her a big hug. And the best part of, I had a lot of good conversations, but the best part of that part of the night was walking out the door with Angie and, you know, sharing the walk home and talking together. And Casey's here, so we'll get to see her. I am just so bullish on all the people that I have met and all the protocols that they're building or the companies that they're supporting. And I can't wait for you to be on the ground here. This is my favorite conference Alex has never been to before. And I swear to God, Alex, you're going to be like, if Heath Denver was a person, Evan, it would be you. That's kind of the vibe.
I believe it. I believe it 100%. Based on the people I know that have told me that Heath Denver is the worst conference, I can.
What? Who's told you that?
I mean, they're just people that I know you wouldn't care for. You know, like it's the overly corporate, that kind of stuff. People who, because this isn't it's not a conference in the way that Consensus is a conference or the Bitcoin Miami is a conference where there's this big ass trade show and there's this huge booth floor, right? Like it's more of a, you know, devs doing things and a bajillion events scattered all over the place. And then there's, you know, speakers and whatever, but there's not like one single conference center with one big trade floor where everyone paid $25,000 to have a booth. And you know what I mean? That's a fair description?
Yeah, but there is a trade floor, but it's a crunchy version. And I mean, it's great, but it's crunchy.
Yeah.
It's like a
That's
4-story
probably the way
building of, you know, I don't know. You'll see. It's hard to describe. But you're
Let's
right.
put it to you this way. Evan walking in dressed as he is would be the appropriately dressed one.
Yeah, I had my
for
pink
this
sunglasses
conference.
on yesterday and a bandana. I packed an outfit that is just a scarf, some white fuzzy leg warmers, and
This is Evan's
some
Coachella.
leathery robe. It's like my that's honestly the most accurate description of Heath Denver I've ever heard. Okay, I don't mean to be so indulgent and just talk about my Coachella fantasies here at Heath Denver. Will you keep the folks entertained for just a second? I want to fill up my coffee. I'll be 15 seconds.
Absolutely.
Time me.
We'll see. Anyway, yes, no, I'm excited. I've never done this conference. I usually do the other ones. So I'm stoked to be there, mostly because just a gajillion of my fake friends from my fake work on my fake radio show are all going to be there. A whole bunch of people from Twitter. The big thing, I will throw this out just as a pro tip for anyone who's an investor. We steer this conversation back to investing just a little bit. If you want to improve your investor thesis on the thing you're holding, there is no better way to do it than to go to a conference and actually like face to face one of the people on the team that you are investing in and just see how that conversation goes. There's nothing that will either shake you or solidify you in the future of whatever that thing is more efficiently than finding that person at a conference and talking to them.
Yeah, can you
Or
imagine
just seeing
thinking?
how everyone else at the conference is talking about it?
Imagine thinking you might buy Polkadot. You're looking at Polkadot and you're like, wow, the price is down. And I hear they're building a whole blockchain. And now you're in a house where they're going to be all week hosting other people. And you can talk to many of them personally and just be like, so how many developers do you support? What are they building? What are they working on? And what's the killer app? What's on your network? You don't have to go to Thai Crypto or somebody online to tell you Polkadot just did it. You just say, hey, Sven, nice to meet you. I'm Evan. Our folks are interested in Polkadot. What are they building? You know, like, or what are people building on your platform? I don't know. It's so immediate and direct. And a lot of the people walking around, like Alex said, are funders too. Like almost every other conversation I have is a conversation with somebody who's like, yeah, I just flew in from Portugal And I'm like, Portugal, you don't look Portuguese. And they're like, no, I'm actually from Berlin, but I was in Portugal because I had to come from Tokyo. And then I had to, one of my companies is doing this. They're very like nomadic, but they're all over the place, mostly at conferences doing business with each other. And you hear about it later.
Well, my friend, I'm gonna skedaddle.
Okay, give me your final thought real quick.
Get ready to board. My final thought is to answer this question: what is a hackathon? So there's a whole bunch of different kinds of hackathons, but in general, a hackathon is an event where people show up and execute some sort of project. So a builder, like a developer hackathon, they could be showing up to sprint build some sort of small project, some sort of
and it's usually sponsored,
small tool.
Yeah,
usually sponsored. There's always prizes. Evan mentioned a marketing hackathon, so people would come up and get together and build like a go-to-market strategy for some other imaginary product or something like that. They're very cool. It's a place where you can go and observe people in their natural habitat building their thing, whatever building means for that person, as quickly as possible in a more of a, I want it like high pressure, but not in like stressful, just in speed, it's quick. But it's meant to be more like a fun kind of a competition between builders, whatever they're doing.
Yeah, the one I did yesterday, I basically did the 1 million person NFT as an idea for how to tell a story that would onboard many, many people and totally abstract the tech. Somebody built, one of the sponsors was like, we'll give you $50,000 to run a campaign that helps teach people about this new initiative on Bitcoin or whatever. Like, it's that kind of thing. And they want your ideas and you might get hired that way. It's cool.
No, they're super cool.
Okay, well, listen, man, fly safe. Don't get tired. And I'll see you when you get here. Okay, call me if you need anything, man.
Sounds good. I will. I'll see you in a little bit.
Bye for now.
Dude.
What a guy. Okay. Your educated friend, Alex Popovich, of course, he used his final thought to help somebody with a question. And I love it. Love it. Welcome to the show, Joey. How are you, sir?
Good. How you been?
I've been good. It's good to see your face again. It's good to talk to you. What's going on?
Oh, not much. So a friend of ours, an advisor for us over at Hash PowerX and Hash AI, recently published an article with Andy Lean on
Who's
the
that?
issue. He's a crypto whale. We just met with him over in Consensus Hong Kong.
Cool.
We went over there last week. Yeah.
Nice.
Big guy on CT. Andy does a lot of stuff in DeFi. But they wrote an article on the problems with sorter fees with Base, and how Coinbase is utilizing the revenue instead of to buy back Ethereum. They're actually draining Ethereum. Well, not draining, but they're taking away from Ethereum's liquidity. So like one of the things highlighted in the article is ETH inflows on the ETFs last month were like 440 million with no outflows. But because of these sorter fees and the way that the layer 2 chains are working, is they're bundling all of the transactions into one block, right? And then they're facilitating those transactions bundled into one block on the layer 1 chain. But when they're doing that, there's a spread between the price difference between when the transaction is finalized on the layer 2 and when it's finalized on the layer 1. So they did a deep dive into the on-chain analysis, and they found that last year, Base Chain generated 100 million in revenue.
Yeah.
And they've showed proof in their article that Coinbase is actually draining and cashing out that revenue.
So really, can I just stop you to explain for people who are totally lost? Because this is really important, but I think we used a lot of jargon. Imagine you had a coupon, okay, at a store that was for whatever you wanted, $1 off this item. And before you got to the checkout, what he's saying is all these companies built on Ethereum, the way Ethereum makes money and the network survives and the validators get paid and the ecosystem flourishes and grows is if there are fees at the lowest level, the Ethereum level. Companies like Base built on top of Ethereum or Arbitrum or Optimism, other companies you'll hear referred to as layer 2s, they effectively take coupons from Ethereum, and instead of buying one item with the coupon, they say, I'm going to take 100 of these items and wrap them all up, and you're going to apply the coupon to all of them. They also take revenue on transactions by making them faster, cheaper, grouping them together. And what happens as a result is, sure, they make it more convenient to use Ethereum, and you would think that would return money and value back to Ethereum, but what we're finding is that most of that value is staying with those layer 2 networks. It's like a leech that attaches to a very healthy host and starts to drain the blood from it over time. Would you say that's fair, Joey? A helpful
Right.
explanation? So
Absolutely.
it's a real thing in the Ethereum community, because we think Ethereum is going to be like the next, it's really the backbone of the future internet. At least, we can make that argument so far, but how is it going to stay healthy and survive and grow if it's having this problem with these kind of leechy companies? People are buying ETFs, they're buying Ethereum, they're interested, but the value isn't returning to the host. Is that what you're saying and what you're seeing?
Exactly. I mean, and the thing is, if you look at the Bitcoin chart and you look at the Solana chart, I mean, obviously until about 2 weeks ago when everything fell off, everything was outperforming Ethereum, which was one of the biggest expected blue chips to really thrive in this cycle. I mean, granted, we may not have seen the end of the cycle yet, although everybody's in fear right now.
Well, and the joke here at the conference is that ETH is everybody's new favorite stablecoin. So, So I hope you're farming it and getting a tight range, good yield. But it's a tough time, I think, for the Ethereum community. They feel down bad. And I think Coinbase provides so much value to end users, but the people on the inside of the Ethereum community, my impression is that they're really concerned about this. I actually, one of the reasons I wanted to go to this conference is to hear people on the inside's perspectives on this very problem, because this has been happening for some time. Last year, there was a study that Arbitrum, for every dollar in fees that it returns to the Ethereum mainnet, keeps $389 of fees for itself.
Yep.
389 to 1, it sounds exactly that. We're
Another
finding
L2
with
of
Coinbase.
Ethereum. That's another L2 of Ethereum. And I think what it comes down to is these sorters are profitable business, right? And anytime you take human interference and bring it into the blockchain, then you incorporate that greed factor of people just want to make money, and that's their only reason to be here. But
Yeah,
it's really important that we find some kind of mitigation for this issue, because if not, it'll continue to hold down, top performing assets until we get a serious major catalyst to push it in the right direction.
let me clarify that for people too, because here's the problem. Why Ethereum is a great asset, because it supports so much actual real world use, not just our financial system, crypto people, but the TradFi system trusts it, the information security system trusts. I mean, it's so trusted and used. But if people who are validating the network are not earning fees because people on another layer 2 on top of them are keeping them all, then they are not going to feel incentivized to stake their ETH to secure the network. And we need that to keep it growing. We need incentives for people who are securing the network first. If we don't have that, the network won't grow. If the network doesn't grow, it can't scale the security of the network. If it's not secure, people won't trust it. People won't use it. They'll go somewhere else. And it's not bad if Ethereum is outcompeted, but what's happening in this scenario is it's not being outcompeted. It's being attacked by the very companies that want to build on it. And the last thing I want to say for context for people, because this is a good lesson too, is we talk often about how this is a venture style investment. Well, one example of that is right now, if you have hundreds of millions of dollars and you want to make a lot of money in crypto, you can find a promising young founder and a smart team who are building an Ethereum layer 2 and give them $10 million. And all of a sudden, if you've got 10% equity or 10% of their tokens, that gives their company a valuation of $100 million. Introduce them to your friends, let them spend some of your money to market, to do an airdrop, a token. All of a sudden, they're Blast, they're Optimism, they're Arbitrum. They're solving challenges just like anybody else, but they're hot. You hear about them and they've got a token and you want to buy it, and I need a paycheck. And all it took was $10 million for me to turn you into, to start the wheel in motion, to turn you into a $5 billion company. And now my tokens are worth, I don't know, $500 million, and I can sell them. And that is the incentive, is venture capitalists want to invest in these companies. The companies themselves want to get funded because the tech is cool, but the founders want a paycheck. But the problem is the opportunity, like Joey says, for greed to capitalize on cannibalizing Ethereum exists. It's there. It's a rough time in Ethereum's history, and we've got to solve that so that value is flowing to the L1, so that more people want to validate and secure the network. More people want to buy ETH and stake ETH. And that's what, it's going to take outside of a big, huge bull market that pushes everything up, which will certainly, I don't know. I kind of think my target for ETH, just as a speculator, I'm speculating that ETH will hit over $5,000 as a high at some point in time before, what I would call the cycle peak. I don't know what you think
Absolutely.
about that.
I agree 100%. And there's a couple of indicators that I have that have pointed me to that direction. One of which that every major performing chain that had a docs dev, such as BNB, FTX, these exchanges that fell off, they were all attacked last cycle. And we even saw it with Bybit just recently. But if you notice the ETH chain and the amount of exploits and attacks from the United States government, there hasn't been hardly any. And you look at all of the lawsuits from XRP and various different assets that were classified as securities and went after. Ethereum was never gone after.
Yeah.
And it kind of leads me to the conclusion that possibly Ethereum has been working with the United States government to come up with a coalition of some sort and a way to utilize ETH within the United States government. And it may end up being the United States government's choice for a crypto blockchain as we begin to roll out in this new emerging digital revolution is what I like to call it.
Do you think they would do a layer 2, like the USA layer 2? Or do you think they would just use mainnet?
I think they'll use mainnet because of all the issues that are arising with layer 2. If they utilize layer 2, it kind of depletes from the decentralization of the blockchain. And
I don't know that I would agree with that necessarily, because it's all, if they don't have their own token and it settles back to ETH, even if they keep the fees, technically they're wouldn't you say?
yeah, but then again, what are they going to do with the fees? I mean, we've seen time and time again the way that the United States government handles funds of the people.
Yeah.
And essentially those fees are collected funds of the people. It really comes down to what are the intentions of the United States government and what do they want for crypto in the future? And then you have the issue of if they do start collecting those fees and they're accumulating them and they're not selling them at a rapid rate, then they have a massive control over the market again. And then we're looking at the S&P and the Dow all over again. Just a controlled market by a select few group of people, which I think is the reason a lot of us came here was to get away from that.
I agree.
I mean, it's a delicate process, obviously. I really hope that at its core, crypto keeps its decentralized aspect and that we can keep the decentralized infrastructure so that it works for the people, because I think that was the reason a lot of us came to the crypto space in the first place.
I gave you a point for that one because I could not agree more, man. And I think it's conversations like this that, I hope people watching who maybe are intimidated by some of the buzzwords, because Joey's been here a minute. He's he works here. It's not that he and I are like some super smart guys, though I think Joey's pretty sharp. But we have spent enough time here that we're familiar and we're up to date. And I hope it informs you. Joey and I aren't up here talking about, bro, which meme coin chart did you see today? We are talking about like the future of the Web3 internet and Ethereum and the layer 2s. We're having a technical conversation as regular guys about the future of our space, because that is what's going to change the lives of everyday people. We want solutions like that to succeed, because that's why we're here. We don't want to just have a stupid extraction game, a gambling game,
Yeah,
although that is pretty fun. But
the extraction, when I hear the word extract, you see so many of these guys in DeFi like, I'm just here to extract liquidity. I'm like, I'm here to bring it in.
yeah,
I'm here to find all the people that aren't in yet and introduce it to them in a way that they can win. Like, I didn't come here to extract. I came here to supply.
think about it like a party. Would you rather be the guy who has a party where there's a tiny cake and you are constantly taking all the cake away from your guests? Or do you want to be the guy who's got this great cake and you're constantly bringing more cake and you're telling people we're the cake party, and then some more people come and they bring cake, and all of a sudden you've got like 500 times more cake than the guy at the other party, and nobody has been put out. Everybody's having a better time. There are more people. There is more abundance. Like that's the goal, man. That's what we can do.
And you look at these extractors, and this is what they're doing: is that they're taking all the cake. Which, who wants to come to a party with no cake, right? Like you said. And when you add the cake, as you put it, and more people start to gather around, well, guess what? People flock to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If people see one little tiny party going on and nobody else comes and people are actually leaving, they're going to be like, I don't want to go to that party. You know what I mean? And that's the effect that these rug pullers and these kids on Instagram and even on TikTok now are having on the market. But I think we're growing into the stage of this cycle where, you see that exhaustion phase, right? We get our initial pump out of the bear run and we get that glimpse of hope. And everybody that was gone for so long comes back and they just start launching rug after rug after rug. But I think we saw it again in last cycle where all of the memes and excuse my language, shit coins, for lack of a better word, they start to deplete and fade off into the distance. I mean, they start to go to zero. Everybody on this big correction, anything that doesn't have utility or an actual use case has died.
Well,
I mean,
and not just that, but usefulness, I think.
right.
You know?
I mean, you look at what UFD did, and those guys, you know, they fell down really hard over a quote unquote hack during a downtrend. You know what I mean? You see things like these happen, and it really just it changes the sentiment. And I think we're going to see a shift as the market begins to turn around, if it does, which we all know the cycle's not over.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You're
But I think
telling
we'll
me
see
there's
a
a
shift.
chance.
Where individuals are going to start to look for those utilities and those builders and actually start to network rather than playing this mindless game of buying the next pump and dump. So I'm really excited about that. You know me, myself, I'm always working on things to help evolve and better the crypto space and make things faster and efficient than the current standards. So
Of course.
I'm really excited to see this next portion of the cycle. And I sent you and Alex a message on Discord. We got to jump in a video chat
You did?
sometime.
If I missed it, it was just recently and I've missed it.
No, it was probably about a week and a half ago.
Would
I'm
you
back
send
in
it just bump it so it comes to the top, please? Because I don't know that it's in my inbox at a place I can see it, and I'd like to see it because I'd obviously love to make that happen. Before you go, can I ask you just to follow up on somebody asked, they weren't sure they understood where you were going. Can you summarize your point about Base's extractive model? Like, what was the takeaway that somebody in the audience should understand from that? We kind of got off into like the bigger picture of Ethereum,
Yeah.
L2's extraction. But
So the reason that I brought that up is that in order for it to change, people need to be knowledgeable of it and they need to start doing their research on it. So you can go on X and you can read the article from Larry Metatrust. If you type his name in on X, he's an advisor for HashPower X, which is the third largest mining infrastructure in the world. And he's also an advisor for Hash AI. He works with Salus, a Binance incubator company. But we as people, it's our responsibility to start expose things to the public and spread the word about what's happening on Base to hold them accountable for what they're doing so that we can start to see a change in the space. Because if people hear about what Coinbase is doing to the Ethereum blockchain and you're a passionate crypto user in the space, then you may be inclined to stop using Coinbase's services and change over to a different exchange or platform. So I think it's really just comes down to accountability and calling Coinbase out for what they're doing and showing them that we're not turning a blind eye to what they're doing and that we want to see the appreciative gains in Ethereum, and the market manipulation needs to stop. And without that accountability, then they're just going to keep on doing it and keep on raking in the dough.
Joey, can you send me that article and I will put it in the Discord for people who are interested in reading it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll send it
Okay.
to you as soon as I get off.
Cool. Well, man, thank you so much for making time to come on. Do you have a final thought or ask for the audience?
No, man, guys, just stay safe out there. Don't get fudded out of your bags. If you're in positions and you're down bad now, I've noticed that when you're in a down position like we are right now, oftentimes the second you stable, the market will turn. So, like, if you didn't stable the top, just hold on for dear life. If you feel the need to let go, do whatever you want. But in my experience, I'm sitting on my hands for the next few weeks until I see a turn in the market and we start to see the next leg up. And that's just my personal opinion, not financial advice.
Well, good times, man. Thank you very much for a great conversation, and I hope you have a wonderful day. It sounds like you got some beautiful birds there, and I'm hoping it's just the best one yet.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You too. You guys have fun at ETH Denver, and
Heck yeah, man.
shout out to you guys. You got an awesome show here. I've been in here since you guys had like 20, 30 members, man. And you guys are just killing it, consistent every day. And these are the kind of people that you want to get around and stay around in crypto. People that are educating and doing the right thing, and they actually have the well-being of their listeners in mind when they're sharing facts out here. So big shout out to you and Alex both.
Cool, man. Take care, and I'll see you soon.
All right, brother. Talk to you later.
Bye. What a guy. What a guy, that Joey. Where is the Discord link, you ask? That's a great time to make a quick commercial before I bring in the next guest. And I'm happy to go a little long because I'm bopping forth with guests, and I want to be a good steward to your questions too. So if you've got a question, really truly the best place for it is the free Rise Up Discord server. And the link to that server is discord.gg/riseup. Alternatively, if you're watching this on TikTok, which is where the question came from, you can tap my face in the top and then open my profile. You'll see beneath my picture is a link to the riseupmorningshow.com. And right there on the homepage, if you scroll, you'll see a button that says join our Discord. It'll take you immediately to the Discord server. You might have to download the Discord app and create a free profile first, but it's just like signing up for any social media site. Then you can go back, click the button, and we all we just got rugged. Sorry, YouTube. Sorry, Facebook. Sorry, LinkedIn. Sorry, Twitter. Thank you for staying with me. Gwump to StreamYard. Sorry about it. I am going to bring in a couple of guests who have questions. If you've got a crypto question, the best place to ask it is in the comments or to jump in the TikTok box with me by tapping the little pink person and the little blue person at the bottom of the TikTok box. Thank you so much for spending your morning with me today. Vanna, welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Thanks for being here. I'm doing well. What's going on with you?
Hey, first off, Joey just took all my flowers I was going to give you, like literally almost verbatim, but I just want to thank you for what you do. And you make it so simple and break it down to a level for like somebody like myself who's not a crypto enthusiast. And I appreciate that so much. And man, it's so there's my flowers to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Actually, I am in East Denver, and this is my first time out here, and you are 1,000% right. This has been the best conference that I've been to so far. It's just been incredible. I've been doing the builder camp because I know nothing about any of it.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Tell me all about it. When did you get in town? Where have you been? What have you seen? Go deeper. The floor is yours.
All right. So I got in on Saturday and I came from Michigan. So time change, everything just killed, right? Sunday, builder camp started, man, out of the gate. They're at 9:00. there till 5 o'clock, learning coding 101, and it was incredible. Like, I actually got so much out of it that I never thought possible, because it's like so out of my realm and out of my comfort zone. Exhausted. It was a cram-packed day. And then did one of the events, went downtown to their mixer, and which it was nice. To what your point was about going to the club atmosphere versus just the mixer mingle, get to talk to people. I'm with you 100%. Like the talking atmosphere where you actually get to engage and meet people and make your network bigger. That's the vibe that I'm really getting out here, and that's just been fantastic. The build-a-thon, or the builder camp, goes on today, tomorrow, and yesterday. So it's like 4 days from 9 to 5. It's jam-packed. Like, it got a little overwhelming yesterday, not gonna lie.
Sure. I believe it. Who is the really quick? Who's the sponsor for that camp, or who are the professionals who are there facilitating? Because I want people to understand that they get exposed to a lot of different ecosystems. Who was there doing it?
So, good question. Joseph, who's kind of been the main person guiding it. He's worked for OpenSea. He's done coding for so many people, and I am terrible with memory. Short-term memory is just awful. So you're going to ask me those things. I'll remember next week. But right now it's the Spoke DAO.
I know of them, but I don't know what they do. Spork DAO. Oh,
Yeah.
Spork DAO. Okay,
So
for
the
people who don't know,
Spork
it's
DAO.
these are the
Yeah.
people who put on ETH Denver. It's a bunch of people who've been in the community a long time. I am technically a member. I hold the Spork tokens, but I'm not active or participating. They're great, very helpful.
They are fantastic for really putting out there, getting people into more of the development side, for sure. Like, it's all free. Like, people pay thousands of dollars for what they're offering for free. So if anybody's interested in like designing or coding or whatever, I highly recommend this is the place for you to get more knowledge. There's tons of people who have all different levels there, from myself being a beginner. I'm just doing it because I want to gain more knowledge about how it all functions.
Yep.
Not necessarily that I want to be a dev, but I'm trying to wrap my mind around all of it. So that's been fantastic. But yeah, definitely highly recommend it. But I won't keep you. I know your time is
Let me ask you
valuable
one
here.
very, very quick question, which is to say,
Yeah.
is it at, I could find this out, but I want to hear it from you. Is it at the main venue? Because I plan to be there to see some of the booths and stuff, but I want to see you.
No, so I'm going to ask you about that in a second. So yeah, the builder camp is just on one, like there's like a bunch of different big buildings there. I've never been to Denver, so it was the big Western Conference Center where the main stages is going to be at. That's close. It's within walking distance. You got to walk under a bridge. It's like probably a 10-minute walk, not even, because I walk slow. But and then there's the other building that's not open right now. But then there's the other building that's open that has like that relaxed zone, and they've got some speakers, and it looks like the hackathon and stuff that you were talking about. There's a build-a-thon going on, but then the camp is just, like I said, about a 10-minute walk. So it's all right there, but it's in the UCL building or something, the university building.
What time are you going to be over there?
I'm going to be over there at 9. Starts at 9. I'm going to probably be up in the developer side, but I was going to ask you if, one, you're going to either hit Abstract later this afternoon. They're doing an event downtown at the Milk Market, I think, at 3 o'clock, or the Builder Mansion tomorrow. That's going to be probably a good one, I think.
Is that the Polka Dot and Block Space Mansion, or is it a different mansion? She's double checking. I can't hear you, Vanna, while you navigate away. So check it and then let me know. I did not know about the Abstract one. I hadn't signed up for it. Today I was thinking about going to the main venue, but Alex and Will and Mac are getting here. And There's so much stuff going on. And somebody asked, is this typical of conferences to have like learning opportunities, networking events like this? Yes. And it's all free, but East Denver has the most. Did you find it,
Yeah.
Vanna?
Yeah, it's the Builders Club.
Got
Yeah, it's the Builders Brunch, and it's by the Builders Club. And I'm just going because I'm part of the Pudgy Penguin community. So I think
Yeah.
Luke is supposed to be a fireside speaker or chat or something. So of course
we definitely want to show up there because we have a relationship with Finn and we want to build a closer relationship. I don't know Luca personally, but I'd like to put a name with a face and make him make an impression. And I would love to see you. So I'm going to try and be there. The Milk Market Abstract, 3 p.m.
Yeah, the abstract one's today at 3:00.
Okay.
I can maybe send something to you.
If you have the Luma link or something like that, you can DM it to me here. My DMs are a mess, but I will know to look for you, and that will be helpful.
Okay.
So I know
All
you,
right,
I know you
sounds
got to
good.
go get ready, but do you have any final thoughts or anything people can do to support you? And are you in the Discord, Vanna? Remind me.
I don't know if I'm in your new one. Is this new one? Because I was
It's
in the old one.
The Rise Up
Your
Discord.
project.
This is a new one, and you should join it because
Okay.
we could use your voice there. But also, it's a great place for resources and to get in touch with me and stuff like that. It's at the link in my bio. You can find it.
Yeah. For anybody who's new to the space, definitely catch you guys because you're the best resource. I love that you're on TikTok. Like I said earlier, you break it down so it makes sense. Sorry, I think I keep losing connection, but
It's okay. I got you.
And just don't give up. Don't give up on anything. I've been in this space for 3 years, but it's been the NFT side. So this is my first year kind of dabbling into the coins and more of the, like I said, the dev, the technology
that
part
stuff.
of it. So yeah, just keep with it, gain all the knowledge you can. So
Thank you very much,
all right,
Vanna.
I will catch you later today then. I'll be looking for you.
Okay, sounds good. Have
Take care.
fun building. See you soon. That was excellent. I love that Vanna's here. And I saw another comment, somebody saying, I'm here. We've got a booth. Let me know again what company you're with because I've totally missed the comment. I'm going to do a couple more questions since we've got a good queue. And we'll talk. We've got Nil and then King Rico and then Diego. If you've got a question, leave it in the comments or tap the purple and blue person, the pink and blue person, and join the show. Hey, what's going on, Nil? How are you? Is this Nil from Polygon?
It is Nil from Polygon.
Oh my gosh. Welcome to the show. Live from East Denver and hopefully in a meeting with us sometime soon, IRL.
Sometime soon.
So
Believe
what's
that.
going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Man, it feels like I'm like getting jittery, like a little bit goosebumps on me. Like I'm talking to I'm like fanboying, you know what I mean? No, I just wanted to hop on and I had a great, I'm sure that I had a great conversation with Alex a week ago.
He
and just,
raved
like,
about it.
Oh man, I can't tell you the energy that you all bring. I mean, the value. I like was overcome when I finally found you all on this app, and I was like, oh my God, like thank the heavens that somebody is doing this and doing the work that needs to get done. And so, like, what do? I take up my picks and I take up my shovels and I go do the work myself.
Hell
right?
yeah.
Like that is what you have to do. And this is I mean, but granted, I know there's great creators over here, right? I respect what you and Alex and Will do, and there's some other people that we respect from my circles that are really trying to make an impact, right? But now it's like, okay, what do I do as a person who was given so much knowledge when I jumped into the ecosystem? My turn, right? Like step up to the plate, do the work yourself. And so I'm over here. I've been on TikTok for 20 days so far. I've ran up my account to like 1,200. I'm doing live streams daily. Like I am like all in, man. And the enthusiasm from like the chat and the people that come in and say, oh my God, this is so refreshing that it's not somebody trying to pump their own bags. That's all the reward I need.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And so I appreciate what you all do. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm yapping like a crazy man. Right
No,
now.
yap like crazy. I want to ask you to tell people more about who you are, what you do, and then I am excited to follow you on TikTok. We'll talk more about like when you're streaming and how they can support you.
Yeah.
But I just want to give you a rose first to say, hey man, that's the consistency is what breeds results. I think everybody should be building their personal brand. I think TikTok is one of the easiest places to do it. If what you can do is just show up and make time to talk to people, and you're doing bigger numbers than Jesse Pollock. So as far as I'm concerned, you're killing it.
Yeah, let's not. I won't talk about
Not to pick on him. I sometimes like to
know.
lovingly pick. Jesse is somebody who he's going to be fine. Like if he
Oh.
wants to be an influencer, he's consistent. He's showing up. He's doing his thing. He's not getting discouraged. He's huge on Instagram. So good
Mhm.
for him. More people should do it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And we all, and like, this is all of our battle, right? Like this isn't like, and for us at Polygon, we know our focus. It's an interoperability. It's making sure we have like really liquidity flow from
Okay,
chain to
wait, but for
chain. It's
people who
like-
don't know,
sorry.
remember we got people at all levels of experience
Slow
here,
down.
and I want you to really give them a good first impression, because for people watching, this is somebody who is really truly at one of those companies that is like a mountain of influence in our industry. So give it to me one more time, but like I'm 5.
Yeah, 100%. So just everyone gets my background and like how I got started. Like I was just like everybody else, right? 4 years ago, I was looking for opportunity. I was involved in the AMC GameStop craze. So I like was very in the energy of like take back the power, right? And that, was an interesting like an interesting time frame, right? We're coming out of COVID. Like there's a lot of moving parts, right?
Yep.
Now, granted, I didn't know anything about this tech. I'm not a technical person by trade, but what I saw is a lot of people that believed in something, right? A lot of people that had this momentum of like, we could do something powerful together. So all this, like, all these streamers, they pointed you towards other things. They pointed you towards Bitcoin and Dogecoin. And that's how I got involved on the crypto side. And I was like, okay, kind of interesting. I understand this a little bit more. Let's do some more research. I dive in deeper and I'm doing more degeneracy, and I'm on the DraftKings app and I see that they opened up an NFT marketplace, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And so I buy, my first Wayne Gretzky trading card, and I buy with a credit card, and I flip it for $40 to $400 in one day. I'm like, okay, like something's going on here.
I'm hooked.
Yeah, like there's good tech, there's interesting people, there's things to do. I'm in, right? And so it was all built on top of Polygon technology, right? And that was 4 years ago. And that's just naturally where the ecosystem filtered me, right? And so once I jumped into Polygon, I started like joining communities and hopping on spaces and buying into NFT projects. I couldn't justify spending gas. Like I couldn't do it. Like I was like, and back then, like Evan, when the gas wars were happening and it was like $100 for a $50 asset, and other side is minting. I was like, I can't. Like I just
Transactions failing, the money's just leaving your account.
literally.
Oh
And like,
my God.
I'm a very like risk averse person. My wife's a chemical engineer, like always on the side of like, she's worried because our house has knob and tube wiring. You know what I mean? Like that's the vibe that we have on our side. So like that is the risk aversion that we have here. So like I slow played the whole thing. I really tried to just build community organically. And then we had, we can kind of poke fun at this comment a little bit. We had one of our favorite people in the industry, Frank DeGods, hop open over from the Utes community and bring the Utes over to Polygon, right?
It was
Now,
a party.
They migrated over. It was a great, exciting time that was an absolute nothing burger, for lack of a better term. But what it did provide is, and I joke around, I was like, Frank DeGods got me my job because it provided a person like me who didn't really have a voice, the opportunity to be like the ultimate like banger of the drum, right? So I jumped in, started having conversations at a high level, educating people on why Polygon made sense and why we have great things going on our side. And I wasn't even working for the organization yet. Magic Eden caught wind of it and they saw me being that person. And Magic Eden brought me to lead up their Polygon Launchpad ecosystem, right? So so new people that were launching, and traditionally I come from the Web 2 world of marketing, PR, and just on the side of like doing great work on the conversational side. So that's what I do best. So I was handling the new launches. I was making sure that they got promoted the right way and that we found collaboration efforts. And then the NFT market dried up, as everyone knows. I started, my wife, like God bless, we started like having kids and everything. And like, and I was doing 2 jobs at once. I was gamifying Web 2 to a place where I worked, 2 hours a day and then full bore Web 3. Right.
Yeah.
And I reached out to my connector over at Polygon. I was like, hey guys, like, this is great. I love what I do right now. I can't keep this up for much longer. Right. And then give it 2 weeks later. And that's about a year ago now. I'm fully employed over at Polygon. And again, I'm a long time yap. I'll wrap it up here.
No.
My job is an enablement manager. So what that means is, and I describe this very simply, is I play point guard for the offense that is Polygon. Right. So and my favorite thing, I don't shoot. I like assists. Right.
Yeah.
So
passing the basket. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, and again, I'm not a guy to take the glory anyway, so I'll pass it on to my technical enablement team that really works on like our CDK build outs and our ZK proofs and all the things that are really high end and our teams need to build within. I handle a lot of our chain developments as well. So groups that are engaging and actually building change using CDK, our chain stack.
Yeah.
They like your Moon Veils and your Wilder Worlds and your Ronins, all those groups as well. They're looking to build a layer 2 or a ZK proof, chain to ensure that they run more efficiently. I handle that process. And then I also engage with the marketing team, the community, the grants, essentially whatever web you need to tap into. That's my specialty, to make sure that those conversations run as efficiently as possible.
That is so cool. And then you just worked yourself into that position. And that is what I love about our industry is you can show up, contribute value by just being helpful, doing whatever you would do anyway. If that's, answering people's questions or asking good questions or connecting people, like you can do that, get noticed. And the ethos of our space is, very much like hey, I saw you doing this. It seems really helpful. I would just like you to do it more. Yeah. Can I pay you? And that's what it comes down to. That's how it is.
And honestly, like our this is and again, like I know that everyone sees like crypto in one spectrum and like, oh, they have this, like, it's a financial space, it's this space, it's that space. It's an everything space.
It's an everything.
You know what I mean?
Space.
It's all encompassing. It provides so many opportunities. I mean, my job, my world, my life is different truly because I put my head down and did the damn work. You know what I mean? I did the damn work. I showed up every single day. I kept shouting at the top of my head, top of my lungs of like, hey, this is the way that crypto should work. And it's not to be this fantastic casino in the sky. It's to make sure the entire world works differently. Like that is the way that we do things. And the other thing I didn't take every opportunity that came to me, right? Like it was because a lot of people, they jump in too early to something. They see this opportunity to jump into Web3 and they're like, oh my God, I got to take it.
I might never get another chance.
Right. But like this industry, you talk about the collision of AI and blockchain, all these things that we're doing right now, like it is so rapidly growing. There are going to be the need for people to do what you do in Web 2 just to like switch your mind a little bit, right? Yeah. Don't use the word sell, use the word collaborate. Don't use the word user, use the word community, right?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
All these little code switches a little bit in a way, right? That you can say, kind of gamify yourself in a way to say like, hey, there's a bigger purpose here. Right. And that's why I'm on this platform, because I need to make sure that that message is heard. And that's what you all do so well. So it's like that inspires the hell out of me. So let's keep pushing and moving on. That's 100%. Awesome.
Okay. So hang on. I have just a couple more questions for you. And do you have a couple minutes?
I'm hanging out. Yeah. I got cool. So I am personally, unfortunately, it's my wife's birthday this week. I am not in Denver.
Unfortunately, it's your wife's birthday. I know you didn't mean to say it like that.
Sorry. I said, unfortunately, the timing of my wife's birthday lines up with ETH Denver. So yeah, give me a wah on that one, right?
Oh, no, I gave you an Alex.
This is a gross misrepresentation of the facts.
Yeah.
That's a good one too. Yeah. My wife's out of the office, or else I wouldn't have said, or in the office today. So I wouldn't have said that. But go ahead.
No. So first of all, there are a couple of comments worth highlighting. Thank you. I try to tell this to everyone I meet, meaning this is how to bring yourself into a job, integrity. And I want to take us back to the question of what is Polygon. I think for a lot of people who are not on the inside, maybe they don't know it, but I'd like to hear what Polygon is. And I also would like your comment. Did you hear the conversation we were having with Joey about
earlier today or
just moments ago, earlier today before you came in?
I was in a meeting until the last guest was on.
Okay, so Joey, he was the guest before that, and he's on-chain native, and he was talking about an article that one of his colleagues produced about the sequencer fees on Base being super extractive. And you're probably no stranger to the conversation around, are L2s good for Ethereum? And Polygon is an OG. And I'm really curious, tell us what Polygon does for people who, are new to blockchain, why they should pay attention to that company specifically, why it matters. And then maybe go a little deeper and more nuanced and give your take on this scaling problem. And put it in the context of, bringing crypto to everyday people, making the industry survive so we can get there kind of thing.
Yeah. And I'll say, like, once again, this is like my favorite conversation because I think that this is the future of how our space should operate.
I knew you'd like it.
I want to, it gets me like, getting going, right? Like, so the whole thing of like no walled gardens and like, God, it's the Web3 ideals, man. So what I'll say is like Polygon has had a lot of evolutions, right? Polygon was originally launched as the Matic network. The Matic network was essentially the goal of scaling Ethereum. And if you don't know what that means, it's to make it run more efficiently, to ensure that transactions don't take long, to make sure gas just gets that much more effective for the everyday user, right? Because everyone has dealt with Ethereum. They know It's a little bit slower. It's not as slow as Bitcoin, not as expensive as Bitcoin, but it still has friction points, right? And to be able to build on a network effectively, you need to make sure that not only your builders have a friendly environment that's secure and you can interact with it seamlessly, but also you need that user experience that be that much more friendly so that every time they do something, they're not getting across a road bump of, can I afford this, right? So our entire goal as an L2 solution, as one of the OG L2 solutions, is to ensure that we continue to scale Ethereum, and we work hand in hand with the Ethereum Foundation to ensure that this happens as efficiently as possible. There's photos of Sandeep, our OG founder, inviting Vitalik into his home with his mom cooking the meal. Like, that is how close. Yeah, they're like in their you know, in India. They're in their high-rise apartment. It's like them cooking a family meal together. Like, that is how close these people are, right? And that's how our industry works. It's relationship-based for a lot of this because we believe in something similar. So the goal for us as a whole is to provide the most efficient rails possible to ensure that that is something that you can use as similarly to the internet that you do today, right? So that means that transactions move smoothly, that you're not thinking about how expensive things are, and that builders can truly just build in the most unique way, because if they're not thinking about all the factors of how to make their build as efficient as possible, they can just focus on the user, right? Which is really how we should be approaching this, because right now we've been so focused on the network, but now we need to focus on the user. Because if we really want to think about mass adoption, if we want that to be the goal, the user integration and the way that we engage our people needs to get that much more seamless. Because right now we can all agree it's not, right? There's friction points, liquidity doesn't flow, you got multiple chains that have multiple use cases. It's just fractionalized, right? Which is really frustrating process. I remember the first time I jumped into Polygon, my Matic was on Ethereum and I'm trying to mint an NFT. I'm like, what the hell? Like, and there's no like guides to this. You got to kind of like figure it out, right?
Yeah, that was my experience too. Just as a quick aside, I remember getting onto Polygon and not realizing that was before they obscured and abstracted wrapped ETH and ETH, and you had to do it manually. And I was like, what's this new asset I need to get? I had to pay gas, get some wrapped ETH, turn that into Polygon tokens, Matic tokens, and then you know, I had to make sure they were on the right network. It turned out I needed Matic on an Ethereum network because I was, you know, I was like, wait, what? Huh? What?
And I'm like, it's just like, it was very complex back in the day, and it created a lot of friction points, and we were trying to alleviate the friction points. So it's like, it was kind of a contradiction with the way that we were building in some ways, right? Now we peel that back a little bit and we talk about like the use case of Polygon, right? And obviously like L2s and the goal of efficiency is great, but what does that look like in practice? It means that gaming ecosystems can run seamlessly to ensure that they don't have all the frictions of every single time that we do something in a game, we have to transact and approve a transaction. Right?
Yeah, and it's costly and slow, loading.
If every single time a gamer was like buying an asset, they had to like, oh, off brand, hold on, the gaming world wouldn't work, right? So how do we build a modular system? And for those of you who don't know, there's two kind of realms and thoughts in our brain, right? Monolithic, which is one chain runs really fast and holds all the transactions, or modular, many chains share in those transactions so that we can offload it and we don't have congestion on one chain, right? For those of you in the meme coin casino or joining in that direction, like you've seen this go down when Solana gets over congested, right? Transactions don't go through. You have these spikes in gas that are crazy. And it's just like, you get frustrated from the network of use cases. That is a monolithic ecosystem. Now, granted, they've made some adjustments. Sonic is over on Sol and they've done some cool stuff. I'm bullish as hell from a technical perspective, obviously. But from the scaling perspective of how we're approaching things, we know that needs to get more efficient. So that leads us to where we are as a Polygon ecosystem today, right? What we are focusing on and what our main flagship is, and some people will think this is a ridiculous goal, is to essentially make sure that we abstract all the friction points away and that we break down the issue of free flowing liquidity, right? If all these places have connections and all of them are actually able to engage with each other, there's a better chance that those users are going to cross-chain and they're going to interact with more platforms, because right now, all the swapping and bridging mechanisms are so clunky. I can't go over to Abstract seamlessly right now. I can't go over to Sol seamlessly because I'm a Polygon user by native. I need to be on that one chain and I have most of my assets on that chain. So it just isn't the user experience that we're looking for. And what we're building is called the ag layer. The ag layer is an interoperability connectivity layer to ensure that all these chains plug into one essentially hub, and they're able to share liquidity with seamless bridging transactions that you don't even need to think about, right? A lot of integrations of AI and AI agents to ensure that these things happen on the back end very seamlessly. Prover methods, kind of like you mentioned, with sequencers that are all kind of pushed onto our teams to ensure that those transactions happen on their end, right? Not on Polygon's end. We're not looking to make a bunch of money off of this thing. It's more so that we know this is the most important thing for users because it's not working yet. There isn't a solution. And I give my hats off to a lot of teams that have already done this before and are working on this. OP is working on their super nets, bullish on the tech direction that they're taking things in. Chainlink for Oracle systems interoperating. That's great.
Sure.
Like, but there isn't one home where you can look at where all these things freely flow. And when you talk about our groups and you talk about what our partnerships look like currently, shouldn't use the partnership word again, collaborations, what these things look like currently, right? You talk about like groups like Ronin, right? Groups like IMX, groups like Wilder World, and groups that are really building these massive universes, right? If we all were in the same building, we could ensure that we all had success collectively rather than success on these own siloed bases.
Or if you had a bridge to walk from building to building, a road that
Yeah.
was safe, that was
Literally.
cheap and easy.
And
Yeah.
fast, and almost like the sidewalk moved by itself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that is the goal for the ag layer and our entire focus on Polygon. Absolutely. Is POS, our proof of our Polygon main chain, is that going to be successful? Absolutely. Like, is it going to have bullish directions for how we build? For sure. The games are being built on it. Courtyard is fantastic. Polymarket is there. We got weapons on POS, and we will always be, really proud of them.
Yeah.
But our future is to ensure that those weapons just get sharper, right? And how do they get sharper? You bring more people to them in the most seamless way possible, which is why interoperability in the ag layer is the future of this technology.
Man, thanks for the inside scoop. For people who aren't on the inside like us, and this might be a little over their head, can we say what is the next year look like for Polygon, and how should somebody who is excited by your enthusiasm, it's something that people often think is, this is a cool project, I need to go buy the token. And I would like to hear you say, the more established projects in our space who have tokens, like the Pol token, or maybe Stellar is a good example. Polkadot is probably a good example. These companies are extremely well capitalized because they have networks of users. They've probably raised money. They have revenue. A lot of them are not particularly worried about the token price or trying to do anything to add value to the price of the token the way a lot of retail investors think they might be. But I think companies like Polygon have a lot of work to do, maybe to justify the price tag of their market cap or their token. Maybe you've heard me say this before. You know what I mean? Like the market cap of Cardano is like the size of Sony's market cap. And I don't think they provide as much value to the world right now. It's a hype thing. And I would say Pol as a network, is probably appropriately priced because of the kinds of stuff that you do. But I'm just curious about what the next year looks like, what the kind of value that's going to be provided for my mom is. Are we still building the plumbing and like extending the infrastructure, or is this a city with houses that people are ready to come live in? See what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I just want to preface, as an employee from Polygon, I will never be talking about Pol token in public. I just want to publicly say that to everybody here. Please do not go buy or sell decisions based off my enthusiasm. That is not why I'm here. I'm enthusiastic because of the network that we have and the technology that we are gaming and the future of our company. That's what I want to just preface. That's probably what my legal team would also like me to say publicly here on a publicly facing platform. But
really quickly too, and I'm sorry to rug your answer, but I forgot to say all of this I'd like in the context of the question too, how does ETH benefit from this?
Yeah. 100%. And that's a good way to say it. Like, and that's our main focus, is like making sure we make it that much better of a more welcoming place, because like everyone's looking at ETH as like, oh, like it's not doing much right now. Like it's slow. It's like, it's not helping the ecosystem grow. Now, what does the next year look like for us? And you made a good reference here. Like, are we still building plumbing? Are we still building on the infra side? And what I will say is like, absolutely, we'll always make that a focus, but we are close, man. Like, as far as like making, like, we have the city, we have the people that are already here and they're living in it and they're thriving, right? Yeah. And I'll use Courtyard as a good example, right? If you guys aren't familiar, Courtyard.io is a digital collecting platform that allows you to collect bada boom, bada boom, Pokemon cards.
Oh,
Pokemon
cool.
cards
Yeah.
that are graded, right? Now, this current Pokemon card is valued around $220 because it's a PSA 10, it's a Squirtle, it's very unique, it's specific to this collection, and people desire to, like, you know, hold on to this, right?
William
I like
Watson, I hope you're watching this.
I know, right? Will would love this stuff. But like, I love this Squirtle, and obviously this is actually this was a gift from a friend. So like, it's personal to me, and I will never let go of this Squirtle for a lot of different reasons. But Squirtle's my favorite Pokemon also, so that's sick. But regardless of the Squirtle itself, the whole reason that Courtyard exists is because there are very high-end collectors of trading cards, right? And trading card market is a very interesting one. It moves and ebbs and flows like most markets, but we've seen specifically with Pokemon a very strong IP and a reason why Pokemon will have long-term value, right? There's games behind it. There's a use case. The value of the art itself is very unique. It's just its own beast, right? And it's proven that it can stick around for a long time. Now, what Courtyard provides is the digitization, or the tokenization, if you will, of these Pokemon cards onto the blockchain via the NFT technology. Now, what this is, essentially, I can send this Pokemon card off to Courtyard. They will put it into a Brinks vault. Yes, like Brinks, the company that has stored billions of dollars, like trillions, let's be honest, trillions of dollars of money around the world. And you see their armored trucks everywhere. That gets put into a Brinks vault. I get a digital receipt into my wallet as the owner of that, and then it is safe. It sits there and it can collect value and it can be there. Now, for a guy like me who only has about 5 of these slabs from PSA, this might not make much sense. But if I have 100 of these slabs, right? If I have 200 of these slabs, it is literally a liability for them to sit in my house for so many reasons, right? My house burns down, I get robbed, my little kid crawls upstairs and puts them in his mouth, whatever it may be. Right? Like, there's a lot of reasons that my stuff can be affected and that value can be affected. Digitization of these assets provides not only security, but it also provides long-term value growth for that asset itself. Now, Courtyard is doing insane numbers. Like, if anybody looks on, like, if you go to OpenSea or any other NFT platforms, Courtyard is the #1 trading project on the NFT platforms, and it has been for 2 or 3 months. The reason is they have gone directly to the Web2 collectors, and they have uniquely positioned themselves as the digital side of Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
That is where people think of it, right? And we had this amazing activation with Courtyard down in Art Basel. We tokenized a $200,000 PSA 10 Charizard, right? So the OG of OGs, right? We brought it on chain. It got auctioned off for $200K. The Brinks truck pulled up and I was able to sign. It literally is a video on it. It's so funny. It's like me looking like the guy out of one of the OG Jurassic Park movies, white shirt, like looking like he's in a villa in Miami, right? And the Brinks truck pulls up and I sign for it. And all that's in the Brinks truck is this little card. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so funny. And so we launched we launched this auction on chain for this card, and people bid on it. It was a secure process. Everyone connected really well with it, and it got a ton of promotion behind what Courtyard's goal is. It's to make sure that real world assets, RWAs, are efficiently brought on chain in a very unique way. So their entire, like, their growth and what they've seen is the use case, and there's many more we can look at, right? Lumia is an RWA platform that focuses on tokenization of real estate. They're putting up $1.4 billion of skyscrapers in Turkey right now that are going to be fractionalized and you can invest in, right? Unique use case. Polymarket, I'm sure people have heard about Polymarket from that direction. Yes, is it degenerate? Absolutely it is. But there's a use case for the difference between like a prediction market and traditional sports gambling, which is much different, right? The user moves the line, which is a little bit unique. We have a plethora of these teams. I could literally rattle off for 20 minutes here over why we have not only the infrastructure being built. So is the plumbing being built when the houses are already existing? Sure. Yeah, it is. But this is tech and this is startups, and that's how Web3 works right now. But soon, you know, but in a, and I get cautious around dates because that's how we get in trouble here in Web3.
Sure.
But in the near future, and I'm talking near future in reality within the 6-month basis here, we are going to be living in a world where we interoperate seamlessly, and it doesn't matter what token you use. You can go in the ag layer and you can interact with any of these platforms seamlessly, and you're going to have a great time doing it because it's going to feel like the internet, right? Yeah. That is the long-term goal, and that's why we are so excited about what we are building, and that's why we're okay with people sleeping on us. You know what I mean? Like, stay asleep. You know what I mean? Because eventually it's going to all come together and people are going to be like, oh man, I'm using this new cool thing called the ag layer. I wonder who produced this. And
Yeah.
it's going to be like Polygon. You're going to be like, damn.
And what
like, they
I
got
want
us
to say
again.
is like, first of all, yeah, exactly right. But that's the real value proposition here. A lot of people are watching a TikTok live or talking to somebody who works in the crypto industry because they want to know, what token should I buy right now? And really, the secret sauce is, if you understand the kind of things that are being built, how to use them now while it's a little hard, and how you will use them in the future, then when the opportunity comes, you're already going to be prepared. You're going to know how to use it, have a plan B, know what to do if something goes wrong. You're going to have friends in the space. You're going to have access to information that is high signal, high quality, so that when a great product like Polymarket launches, you can be an early user. You can be somebody who benefits from what you know because of how the world is now. The way, if you learned how to drive or learned how to work on cars, you would be really well positioned in a world where Henry Ford debuts the assembly line.
Exactly.
That's
the difference.
That's what you're setting yourself up for. Everybody, whether you're a pizza maker or a gardener or a gamer or a pet lover, whatever it is, will benefit from the on-chain internet. And mostly they won't need to know swapping and bridging and gas fees and abstraction and what network is it on and what cold storage wallet does it live in. It's going to be like using your phone to call somebody you love or play a game that matters to you. But by understanding it that way, you are so far ahead of everybody else and will have the opportunity to be somebody that can capitalize on it, and not in an extractive way. So,
and that's why we push the tech and what the use cases are. And that's why we have to, because everybody, I would say everybody, a lot of people on this app think there's one use case: buy token and see where it goes, buy coin and hope for the best. Like there's so much more to unlock here. Right there. And again, like I use Courtyard because it's a very easy example, but like you can literally go to courtyard.io right now. You can scan an Apple Pay. They open up a custodial wallet for you. You connect your own personal custody wallet. You scan an Apple Pay QR code and you buy a card within minutes.
So
like
it's sign up, scan, connect a card, buy. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it is so, when I was
know
on
how
a
to do that.
call, right. And I was on a call with the team when that Apple Pay scan was released. I actually loaded up their website before the marketer even knew that it was available. And I'm like, Zach, dude, do you guys know you have Apple Pay integration right now? And he's like, oh my God, we were talking about that for next week. Is that live? And I'm like, dude, hold on, shut up. And I'm like scanning in the middle of the meeting. And I was like, I just bought the sick card. I'm so juiced, dude. Like, this is the future. And now you're seeing the results. Their volume is insane. It's millions of dollars. It used to be like, oh my God, we hit 1 million a month. This is sick.
Yeah.
Now it's millions a day, right? Because they've built and met their users where they are, right? It's not about what chain you're on. It's not about, oh, I got to get this currency. It's not it isn't. It really isn't. It's, do I have a sick platform and does the tech work seamlessly? If you have those two things and there's a use case, send it off. Right. And then see what you can do as far as push it to how far. And that's why it's so exciting. And that's why I'm so proud of these teams at work, because they see that vision. It's not about the, oh, I got to do this to have success. I got to bridge here. It's not about that. Right. It's not about the token price either. It's not about any of that. It's about making sure that we have these seamless rails so our people can experience our technology and they can feel what it feels like that we have about the passion for the space.
So Polygon, to sum it up, what I'm hearing is Polygon is really thinking long-term, not just how to extend the value of, the infrastructure it's built on top of, Ethereum, but they are thinking long-term about how to support products that will add value to everyday people's lives in the context of this new internet, where people will own the information that matters to them. I had a conversation last night with my friend Angie. We were walking home from the Polkadot Blockspace mansion, and Angie's a dev. She's a coder, a technical person who works in crypto. And she was saying, she used this phrase, digital twin. I've heard people say this before, but the context, she said, what's so significant about this is we are creating your digital twin. When you create a token, you're just writing a bit of data down in a particular type of ledger that's, secure, not owned by anyone. And that's really novel. Never existed before in the history of humanity that we have this ledger that I don't own, you don't own, doesn't physically exist, but can keep a record of truth for everyone who might wish to use it. Not going to censor people, not going to keep them out because they're black or white or gay or straight. And we can all trust it because we can all verify it. And we can propose changes to it and yada, yada, yada. And she was saying that is going to make it possible for the first time in so many words for your birthday being a piece of information about you that lives on the internet somewhere to be owned by you, for you to have permission over who sees that, for you to consent to when and where it is distributed, because it is in the form of a token that can be owned, that can be proven, and that may be provable without the need to observe it. You know, your doctor needs to look at a medical record on paper in their office everywhere in the United States. If you're a patient of our medical system, your bartender needs to look at your driver's license to see, are you old enough to drink, and observe your birthday, your address, all this incriminating information about you. And we are finally making real headway towards a system where, in an internet connected world, people can truly own the information that represents them online. And it has become, the way our phones have, an extension of us. Just because your phone's not part of your body, think about it. I mean, you reach for it all the time. You think about things in terms of, I'm going to write this in a note on my phone, or you wonder if you felt a vibration in your pocket, even when it's on your nightstand. You are an android. And the same way that that is part of you, your digital twin, your birthday online, your social security number online, your Facebook profile, those are extensions of your actual personality. But now that you will be able to do more things with and truly own, because of companies like Polygon adding value to companies like Ethereum that are open source infrastructural pieces of an internet of ownership. So, you know, I went way longer than I meant to. All of that to say, you know, it seems like you're not really worried in the short term about, are some layer twos extracting a little value? Because most people, certainly at Polygon, but most people who are really building here are building for that vision, which is so vast and so big that it can't be overcome by this momentary incentive misalignment, it sounds like. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful way to say it, because like that is the vision of why Polygon began, right? And the reason why I've aligned with Polygon so directly is because we've stayed true to that. And people like Sandeep and Mark, our CEO, and the individuals that work at the leadership level, I feel like a lot of leaders talk in the way of this, but they don't actually believe it and live it, right? There's a lot of teams that say like, oh, we're building for this, oh, we're building for that, but their actions don't follow that, right? But I know when I look at my team and we're all on hands, and Sandeep goes, listen, it's ag layer or nothing. Like nothing else matters. Like yes, is do we want to do this, that, and the other thing for Polygon? Absolutely. But when we see his face and he's like, we call it like dark Sandeep, like right, like black hoodie on, like he's ready to rock and roll, like he knows what the lore is there, right? He has like a history of like being very intense about when it's time to be intense, because right now it's time. Like we are ready to rock and roll, and people have downplayed what we do for a long time when we've pioneered this technology for a long time. And it's not even that we need to, like, we don't want to do it for us. Like we're not out here to make sure that Pol gets all the love. We're just one contributor to what the ag layer does, right? And yeah, is it going to be cool and it's going to help us out? Absolutely, right? But if Web3 wins as a collective, we all win together. And that's why it's been so focused on like, how do we, and that digital twin, it's a perfect way to say it, right? Like nobody, like I made a video about this the other day. It's like everybody that doesn't interact with this technology yet, but has been doing things online, has already been building social proof. They've already been building like digital identity, right?
Yeah.
Every single time that you add your gamer score up on Xbox, you want to prove to all your other homies that you did something. Every single time that you post because you traveled to a foreign country, you want to have social clout to prove that you did something, right? Why don't you have that evidence in your ownership already? Right?
Yeah, it's like,
because
it's really quick. It's like the analogy for people who are understanding it, struggling to understand it still, is like if this is the physical world, imagine stepping through a portal when you get on the internet and there is a digital version of you that is you. But right now it lives on strings that even if you are moving, you know, you gotta be controlled by someone else kind of thing. You don't have the autonomy without these tools to move about in the digital world as you move about in the physical world.
It's just different, right? And I think that like people undervalue what that ownership can really mean, right? Like people undervalue, and that's why everyone jokes about it. It's like, oh, why aren't my Fortnite skins on freaking block? No, I haven't seen it yet. Nil,
Yep.
What's going on your side? Why aren't you? Why haven't you brought Fortnite on the blockchain
Yeah,
yet?
can
And
the
it's
devs
like,
do
dude,
something?
yeah, exactly. And it's like, yo, dude, like there is no incentive for Fortnite to do that yet.
No,
Like there isn't. Like their incentive is to make money and have those ownerships, so you have to stay on platform. It would not make sense for XYZ gaming company to make sure that things interoperate well and do all this stuff. But eventually, like you saw with Off the Grid on AVAX and what you're seeing with all these teams, and I really think that we have something super unique with Wilder World, which is truly building what I think is the future of what the metaverse should look like.
Okay.
That is when you're going to see these things matter. Like that is when you're going to see people and other people in the Web 2 world be like, oh damn. Like we might need to pivot, ladies and gentlemen, because the people are going to them now. Like that is when we move the needle, when the user basis says, oh yeah, that's cool. But by the way, this is just as good as of a game. And I actually own everything here.
Right.
That's a crazy world that we
Right.
can consider we live in.
Dude.
Yeah.
And we're so early. For people in the audience, you are so early. We're talking about the tech. We're talking about the plumbing. And you are going to encounter a person in the wild one day who says, oh my God. And it's going to be a revolutionary idea to them. I have the ability to sell my profile. I'm a level 100 Angry Birds player, and I can sell this profile to somebody who's new for $2,000. And it's going to be novel, and then it's going to be normal. It's going to be
Yeah.
just like making a phone call. You're not even going to think twice about it. So
Yeah, it is what it is. And so like I've taken up enough time. I'm sure you have other guests. I just want to say first and foremost, like thank you to the chat for everybody that say like I haven't read the chat at all.
they love you. A
because
lot of flowers for you, man.
I know. I appreciate that a ton. I've just been I can't think of another word, infatuated with the conversation, but also just like really appreciative, howdy and all that stuff. But like I've been so appreciative of what you all do. You know, it's like this isn't thankless work for when you get to this level, because I know your community cares about you, which is like really hard to get to. But for a long time, when you all were grinding up and then getting in there, and I was seeing you all casually, I remember I came on a stream and I was looking at you all, and I said like, "Oh, would you guys hop over and do a space?" And Evan, you said it specifically, which like made my brain switch a little bit, and you said, yeah, you know, spaces are great, but why would I walk over there and be in the same echo chamber where I can't affect things? And it was like, oh my God, my brain flipped. I was like, oh my God, like you're right. Like, why would I shout at the same people for the XYZ amount of time that I've done it this week? I'm not getting anything out of it. So what should we do? You go to where the people are, you impact the community that needs it the most. And right now, this is the app for it, right? And thank God that we still have it. Like this app is now open and we're able to do it here in the States still.
Yeah.
I'm just so thankful for what you all have lined up for us to have success, because I know what potential is here and I'm going to lean into it heavily. I'm coaching my team over at Polygon to lean into it heavily, because we're not going to come over here with a Polygon account and do it. That's not going to work. Like, let's be honest. Like you can look at the evidence. It's not going to gain traction the way that it should. But if we get our humans over here, we show them why we have value and why our ecosystem is unique, and we connect with people like you who are really doing it for the right reasons, sky's the limit. So I want to appreciate you again and just say, there's going to be some very cool things that we get to discuss in the future. And while I'm not in Denver, I will say we will see each other at Consensus, from my understanding, because we're going to do some really cool stuff together, and it's going to be a special time for all of us.
Well, listen, man, thank you very much for the kind words, for the time you've shared. And I
Always.
can't wait to support your TikTok journey and talk about how we can amplify the kinds of things that you guys are building. Now, before you go, just tell people where they can find you, or where you would direct their attention if you have an ask, or if they want to learn more about you or what you are doing at Polygon.
Absolutely. So if y'all want to pop over my profile, again, I'm doing daily content here, getting on a better streak with it. Again, working in the industry, stressful times, but my daily live streams are live every single day, Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. EST. It's a block that has been very consistent for me. I've been open for it. I've just been doing kind of random times, but next week is when I kick off officially 2 o'clock every single day as a formality. I'm actually gathering data for my team. We call it dog fooding, right? I'm eating the own food that I need to make sure to see if this works for us, right? So I'm currently dog fooding TikTok for our marketing team, right? And so every day at 2 o'clock, I'm trying to do one video a day. If you guys pop over my profile, I also have my Linktree, which can connect you to my Twitter, my Telegram, as well as my LinkedIn and this platform here. So feel free to connect with me on any social media app that you feel comfortable with. I hop on calls with people. I have discussions with builders. I really just want to be that resource so people know that there's more than one place that you can get information from, because I know that there just isn't enough resources yet. So again, appreciate all that you do. Excited to continue to grow alongside you all and do cool things. And just really looking forward to everything that we get to accomplish together in this app.
Me too. Neil, thank you for your time, man.
Always,
Have a great
brother.
day, and
Appreciate you.
I'll catch up to you soon, brother.
Yep. Talk soon. Peace all.
Bye. Wow. How cool is it that we got to come on TikTok today answer some questions about crypto from the epicenter of ETH Denver with people who are actively building that future. How cool is it that we didn't have to sit through a stream with some influencer that we've never met, who doesn't know anything, who doesn't live here, who got paid $500 a day to play, got to pump it up, hey, pump, and take our money. Like, what a great way to spend our time as people who love crypto. That was banging. Oh my God. Oh my God. I think here's what I got to do. King Rico has been so patient in the guest pool that I'm going to take one final question. I really appreciate your time and attention. And then we'll send our dogs and ponies off into the sunset. So what I want you to do before I bring King Rico up is leave me a comment, leave me a question, do a favor and go follow Nil. And if you didn't get the chance to follow his profile, jump in the Discord, discord.gg/riseup. Find it from the links in our profiles, all our social pages, and we will get you connected to him and support what he's doing or follow up. You can watch the recording of the show, all that stuff. You know what to do. I am so grateful for that. What a cool talk. And if you've got a question, the Discord is the best place too. While Rico is loading, we're going to be back tomorrow and Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, just like usual. Only Alex and Will are going to be here in person. We're going to try and bring Mac in too. And Thursday, we have got, get this, Bitchcoin. You heard that right. I'm going to need to get a beep like Bitchcoin. I don't know. That's not effective enough for when I say it. If you liked Nil, you're going to love Tuva. She is sharp as a whip and all about onboarding in a helpful way, teaching everyday people what crypto is and why it might matter for them personally. It looks like King Rico's having trouble loading. So I'm going to stay on for 1 or 2 more minutes to give Rico a chance to try and connect again and make sure I've got all the last lingering important questions wrapped up so that you know what to do, how to connect. In the meme time says, I'd like to speak to Nil if he has time for a fellow builder. It sounds like he does. And I'm sure he would be glad to hear from you. If you didn't get to follow him, leave me a comment on any of my videos and I'll make sure I can connect the two of you. And if you are at ETH Denver, come check it out. Come hang out with us. The next place we will be, like Nil was alluding, is at Consensus in Canada, Alberta, I do believe, in May. And then who knows? We may or may not be in Dubai for a conference. And I would like to start doing more streaming, more shows, more events to do this kind of thing our way. None of that wild and crazy stuff, except maybe on the back patio. You can get wild and crazy there. And like Tech CEO says, you got to buy the mug. I am without the morning show mug today. I almost put it in my suitcase, but it was so damn full and so heavy that I couldn't do it. I absolutely just couldn't do it. I'm sorry. So buy a mug for me and let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. Vancouver would be better than Alberta. Bitcoin is down, but the vibes are up. The macro picture is up. Parsa has a question. Go ahead and ask. And then I'm going to take my dog and pony show on the road. That'll be the last question from Parsa. It's the best mug ever. I am trying to sell more partners who want to sponsor the show on a mug sponsorship because, first of all, the mug is iconic. It's there every day. But could you imagine if one day I showed up and had a Polygon mug? First of all, people would notice. Second of all, they would talk about it. And that would just be a really great way to show support without having to really shill a token and then get to talk about Polygon and be like, oh yeah, Polygon has the mug today. The official mug sponsor today is, you name it, Coinbase or whatever. That would be cool. Do I think 74 Bitcoin support is just like bringing fear or legit? I'm not entirely sure I understand your question, except to say, if what you're asking is, do I think it's possible that Bitcoin could go as low as 74,000 or lower? And I wonder if you're asking that because that was like its previous. There's an interesting stat that whenever a president is elected in the United States, Bitcoin establishes what we call a new higher floor, which means a high price that it never dips below if it goes beyond it again. You can think of this like the floor in a skyscraper. If you walk up the stairs to a new floor in a skyscraper building and you fall, you hit the floor. You don't just fall to the ground. The floor prevents you from falling to the next floor and the next floor and the next floor. And so at periods of time, Bitcoin historically has established these climbed a stair to a new floor that it will respect with regard to its price. It will not go below that price. The floor is hard. It can't fall through. Bitcoin is young, relatively speaking. So I don't feel like it's a scientifically valid or conclusive data point to say Bitcoin will never fall below what it has now established as this new floor at about 74,000. I think it's very possible, but I think TradFi is here. Institutions are bullish on Bitcoin. Bitcoin holders are bullish on Bitcoin. The future of Bitcoin is pretty much guaranteed. And for folks who weren't here 4 years ago, and especially 4 years before that, and I don't even know what it was like 16 years ago, 12 years ago, the future of Bitcoin, though, it was very, very speculative. We honestly didn't know if crypto was going to make it. Lots of regulatory concerns, lots of challenges. But now I feel like our space is confident and the world is confident it's here to stay, even if it's not adopted at scale. So I'm less concerned about the interim with Bitcoin and more concerned about, am I accumulating enough? Do I have a plan so that if it dips lower, I'm ready and can buy a little? If it goes higher, I'm not spending too much money on it, but I'm still getting some. And that over time, I'll have more than I do today. Because in a world of dollars, the value of Bitcoin will always simply be more. And that's my time. They're going to buzz me. They're going to gong me. My final thought is this. If you are a person who is new to the show, welcome. We are so sincerely glad you're here. The best community on the blockchain is the one that welcomes you, where you feel like you can ask any question, you can share what you know, you can learn and grow. It doesn't have to be ours, but we do have a place, a platform where after the show, people get together to ask their questions. It lives on Discord and at the riseupmorningshow.com. That's where all our official links are. And you should go there to get our YouTube, to see recordings of the show, to get our Twitter if you want to support us there and help us grow and reach more people, to get referrals to our favorite products and services that save you a little bit of money, like river.com, which is an automated Bitcoin buying solution that I use every single day to buy a little Bitcoin. 0 fees on recurring buys and withdrawals. To get links to free downloads like our How to Do Your Own Research Guide. It is a hub that as we continue to grow, we'll continue to grow, and our community will continue to grow, and it becomes more valuable. Everybody in crypto needs a friend. And you've got lots of friends in the Rise Up community. So, my friend, check it out. All that's missing is you, theriseupmorningshow.com. My final thought is that we will be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I may try to go live from the conference just to show you some behind the scenes stuff. Thank you, Buffster. If you're in Denver, let me know. We'll meet up. And if you're on the internet, don't fret. You're already early on the inside. So glad to all of you for being the best part of what we do, for making this possible, and for trusting us most of all to help you learn. So everybody, take care, stay safe, be well. Until next time, my friends.